are going live. Yeah,
Live is occurring.
it is.
You are being enlivened.
I don't
Invigorated.
I don't feel like I'm being enlivened or invigorated or rejuvenated.
Have you confirmed that microphones are on?
No. Right, the microphones are on.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
We're fine. People can hear us. Excellent.
Now would be a good time to insert ads. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that reminds me. At some point, YouTube Studio keeps that was buffering was concerning. YouTube Studio keeps saying allow us to automatically insert ads for you, and at some point, in fact, I'm going to say it now and then not mention it next week, just to see what happens. Next week, I'm going to say sure and just see what happens, and we'll just see what that looks like.
Very well.
I think it's going to be terrible, and everyone will complain about it, and we'll be like, cool, we're never doing that ever again.
I see.
But I'm curious to see just how that behaves, basically.
Very well.
Is it going to put one in like every 5 minutes? Or like, is it going to do like one every hour or something like that? Will it make any meaningful amount of money? Who knows?
Will anyone even look? Because everyone's running an ad blocker because we're a tech channel.
Yeah, yes. Well, not anymore, apparently. Although, well,
what do you mean? We're not a tech channel anymore?
No.
We have been unteched? We are now a hair and beauty channel.
Yes.
Also, why does this stool squeak?
Do you want to swap? That one is the squeaky one, I think. Yeah, this one feels a lot solid.
How do we have a static stool that squeaks?
Because they're bollocks. Because all the stools are bollocks.
We'll have to get some artisan, handcrafted, made out of sheet iron.
It's like if I could find such a thing and it cost £60 per stool, I would genuinely say, you know what? Okay, I'll pay up.
Ask your friend if he can forge you something. I
wish for you
to make me an entire forged stool.
Sir, I want a throne. A literal throne on which to sit.
For I have a YouTube channel and an audience.
Yeah. And I'm getting bored of having to replace the chairs every 6... well, I mean, these have lasted like a year or so.
More like 2. We bought these in the old shop.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. They've done well then. Yeah. And like that one, if we tighten it up again, it'll go quiet.
We just need to put some washers on it.
Yes. Yeah. Which is great, just because the problem with the other stools is when the gas drop fails, there's nothing you can do about it. And also, like, all of the welds on it fail and stuff like that. Whereas these are just bolted together, so you can just keep tightening up the screws. Whereas all of the gas strut stools, once those start squeaking, there is no repair for them. It's not that the top of the seat is loose, it's just the whole thing is just crap. Wow, we just crashed through about 5 different topics.
Speed!
So, hello everyone. Yes, how are we all doing? Yeah, one of the things that I did want to ask about adverts just then was that, have you been keeping track of the chatter in the Discord about this? Because I saw something about uBlock had already updated to compensate for this.
I don't know. I haven't overly been paying attention to it.
Yeah, me neither.
But I also was just like, I've not seen any of this. But then I was just like, oh yeah, but I have YouTube Premium, so it's not going to show that I'm blocking adverts because the adverts aren't showing.
Yeah.
Because I have Premium. But yes, as far as I understand, uBlock was already not caught out by this.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll have to find out.
So yes.
Yeah, update your uBlock, everyone. uBlock Origin, update it. It has been a battle between uBlock Origin's devs and YouTube. UBO has been releasing multiple updates to their filter lists each day. Oh, okay, so there's actually a literal battle going on right now. Because obviously AdBlock has always been an arms race to an extent, but apparently, yeah, it sounds like it sounds like they are doing battle as we speak. Welcome to the skirmish, everyone.
Welcome to the... Anyway, let's not.
I was making that reference, and I was just like, yeah, Caradog will get that one. I can't feel my lungs. Anyway. Enter Shikari. Anyway. Okay. JD's with us as well. So yeah. Right. I am full of cold today. My brain is full of fog. If I start going places, you need to correct me because like I know I'm bad on a good day, but today I'm just like, oh my god,
Wait, what? Set your location to Albania and don't get any ads. Really?
What, like is that like in your YouTube account or
yeah. What? Like, really? If that's a thing.
The Albanians can't afford advertising, so.
Well, or it's a case of more along the lines of there are no adverts to serve because no one wants to target it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because no Albanian company is going to Google saying, serve our ads.
I don't know. I have goats to sell, and Albanians probably want to buy goats.
Where are these goats? I'm concerned.
This was a very poor attempt at a joke. As in, there's probably something to sell there.
But... Yes, but they're probably not using Alphabet to sell it.
This is true. They'd probably just sell it locally.
Yes. Artisanally.
Artisanal goats.
Yes.
I see.
They have been sheared with love and affection.
Hi to all the viewers in Albania. I'm sorry. This was very rude. Okay. Apparently the Albanian Prime Minister is brutal. I have no idea who... I don't know anything about Albania. I'm not going to lie.
I know that it is a country.
Yeah. We should probably stop this conversation here, shouldn't we?
Okay.
I'm trying.
We'll dunk on the South Africans instead.
We're allowed to do that because JD will laugh and that vindicates us.
Exactly.
So, we have a friend from there and therefore we can't possibly be racist, you know.
That's how it works, right?
Yeah. That's not how it works. Okay, right. Right, what are we doing? What are we doing today?
What are we doing today?
Today we're talking about computers for sale.
Yes.
I have some I don't have any gaming PCs on sale right now, and I wish to rectify that because I've probably got enough parts to build a gaming PC and put it on sale. Yeah, all of the I've got the same sodding cases that I always have because every time I have sold a gaming PC recently, someone's been like, "Oh, I want this, but I really want this kind of case." So I've ended up taking the gaming PC, the last gaming PC that we probably built on the podcast, stripping it out, putting it in a different case, and then selling it, and still having that same goddamn chassis. So yeah, will you use the Hellcrack? Well, it is available, but I don't. That will come up as a topic of conversation because the thing about the Hellcrack is I think that kind of needs to be sold as is. So the Hellcrack, just for
is it this one?
Yeah, the side panels are off, so it's not looking too smart. It is actually built up though. This makes more sense selling it as just a smart, higher-end office PC at the moment. I don't really... This has a... It's called the Hellcrack because this chassis is it's a cheap chassis, and the chassis is literally called Hellcrack. And as we all know, like cheap Chinese chassis have all kinds of nonsense names. So I was just like, there we go, that'll do, buy it. However, it showed up and it actually had a badge on the front saying Hellcrack. And I was like, I can't sell a PC called a Hellcrack. What does that even mean? So I was like, this is fine, I'll just pry the badge off. I pried the badge off, but it's one of those ones that has a hole that it pokes through. So then there was a hole in the front of it. So I've just put an MSI case badge on there. So
tactical.
Yes. Basically, yeah. Whoever buys this can't debadge it because there'll be a hole there. So yeah. So yes. At any rate, that's got a Ryzen 5600G in it, and as such, you can put it's got 16 gigs of RAM in there as well. So you could just slap a graphics card in there, and it's a gaming PC. It just doesn't really make much sense to sell a 5600G with a graphics card, in my opinion.
Not really. No.
It makes a lot more sense to sell that as a premium office PC. So
yeah.
Just an office PC that's just got a bit more grunt.
Yeah.
And because it's got 16 gigs of RAM and not awful integrated graphics. Because that's what it was originally supposed to be for, but the sale fell through when I'd already built the machine.
Oh.
So it's a long story that I'm not going to go into. So yeah. Something I should have taken a deposit, but whatever. Anyway, so that I should just put out on sale as is.
Yes.
But also
plus side panels.
Yes, with the side panels on. But also that introduces another. That also introduces a. That's an MSI case badge. I just searched it. Yes, that's why I said I put this MSI case badge on it. Anyway, so yes, that also brings up to another potential topic that I wanted to discuss with this, because we were also talking about, like, we've done podcasts where we spec'd up new computers, and we were like, how much could you buy for $1,000 or something like that? And Caradog came up with this idea of saying, oh, we should do a show where we trawl eBay for the best looking refurbished or secondhand parts PC we can build. And
with the intention of actually buying the parts.
That's it. Yeah.
For instance, literally in the sense of,
let's try and build.
We've got this half a PC sort of thing, or we've got these two components. We need other bits to fill out for the rest of the PC. What can we get for this that's cheap as possible but sensible?
There is a decent demand from parents of teenagers who want their first gaming PC and have like £600 to spend. And £600 doesn't get you brand new, basically. Or if it does, it's going to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
So it's a case of, okay, well, can we build good second-hand computers that we can then sell at £600 to fulfill that demand?
Yeah, something you're actually comfortable selling for that price. That's right. Second-hand sort of thing.
And one of the problems that I've got is, like, we've built up some of these PCs before with like some 4th gen parts that we've got lying around, but I don't feel confident in those. And the problem with it is I don't know what they're actually capable of. Like, can we build with like 4th gen stuff, and like, does that run Fortnite?
Yeah. Does it play at a high enough quality for something you're comfortable selling?
Yeah.
For instance, because sure, anything will play anything kind of thing at 1 frame a second. Am I going to sell you, here is a gaming computer, it will launch the game?
Yeah.
And that's
Quite
it.
So basically, it's a case of what is esports spec, because when you're building cheap computers, the way you sell them is you say this is for esports, and that means games that will run on a potato, like CS:GO, like Rocket League, like
World
Fortnite.
of Tanks, Fortnite, Valorant.
That's right. But I have no idea what the actual minimum requirements are for a not awful user experience. So what are we going to define that as? Like, what, 1080p 60 FPS?
Yeah,
I think that's
a fair starting point.
If you're having to drop down to 720p, you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Then I think handhelds can do better than that. Right. So having said all that, I'm going to quickly just scan through the chat.
Yeah. So the minimum the minimum recommended specs for Valorant are an i3 370M and Intel HD 3000 with 4 gigs of RAM.
An i3 370M, did you say?
Yeah, so the mobile, the mobile potato as opposed to the mobile not quite as potato.
Yeah.
Oh my god, no, hold on, I was incorrect. The minimum specs are a Core 2 Duo E8400 or an Athlon 200 GE. I like how the Athlon 200 GE is from like 2021 and the Core 2 Duo E8400 is from 2006.
I've got an Athlon 200 GE.
Yeah.
Now might be my opportunity to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I bought it as a BIOS flashing chip, only to discover that it was immediately on the chopping block for unsupported CPUs.
Yes, because it's Bulldozer. It's functionally Bulldozer.
I know, but like it had a functional life of about a month.
Yes.
It was literally...
It flashed our board.
Yeah, it was dead on arrival, yeah. Thankfully, I think I only paid like 40 quid for it or something like that, but yeah, it was hysterically DOA.
The high-end specs for 144Hz plus is a GTX 1050 Ti for Valorant.
Oh yeah. So
Valorant will run on integrated graphics really well, and we're talking HD 430, the 430, 530. I can't remember what it was. The one that came in like 6th gen.
Yeah.
I can do numbers.
Go recommended, not minimum. Yeah, we're not literally going to aim for the minimum specs. It's mainly just a question of trying to quantify whether what we're speccing up is actually useful. Because,
But it was just a case of like, that is how low Valorant is, for example, because Valorant was specifically built to run on as low-end hardware as possible. They specifically went through and built it.
Yeah, because like by this argument, the Hellcrack with its 5600G will probably do all of these esports games.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that being the case, I can sell that as an esports gaming PC and say,
high-end office PC, esports gaming.
And
PC.
if you want more, just put a graphics card in it. You know.
Yeah.
Valorant. So, how much for the Ryzen G machine? 500 GBP. Something like that, I think. I forget what I was originally quoted the customer for. Like I should again, this is something that I want to do today, is actually bash out the spec of that computer and just reprice it and just stick a price tag on it. Just so I can actually put it on the shop with a price tag on it. So the next time someone walks in, it's just like, how much is this? Instead of me going, well, I could build you something like that, I could be like, it costs this much. Would you like to buy it?
Yeah.
You know, because that's the problem I've got. And this is one of the reasons why I keep dancing around whether I should sell the Lianli or not. And I think I need to put a price tag on the Lianli.
Just stick a price tag on it.
Yeah. Because, you know, I'm just like, oh, but it's got the EK Elite in it, and that's weird. But
Then take the EK Elite out and stick the Liquid Freezer in there.
I guess we could, but then,
if that's the concern.
Yeah. But then on the other hand, I think I should just sell the EK Elite. As you know, just like, I would be selling it at a loss, but like I'm not bothered about that. Because, you know, it's just for this But then that's the problem. If I sell the EK if I sell the EK Elite, then what do I put in the next demo PC? But then I don't need an all singing, all dancing demo PC.
No, but in the next one you put the Deepcool LT720.
Yeah, we buy a Deepcool, and then I'm buying.
You put the LT720 in there.
Yeah, you're right. I need to put a price tag on that Lianli.
Yeah, or you keep the AK AIO as your AIO, and you just put it through different PCs.
Yeah,
because it looks nice.
No, I think I should just put a price tag on that system as is. I think that's the only thing that will work and make sense. So yeah, we need to actually list the spec of the Lianli and just say this is how much it costs, because people love that PC.
Yeah.
Everyone, like, whether they're gamers or not, everyone who walks in here gravitates to that Lianli. Is like, wow, that's amazing. How much is it? You know. And I keep saying it's not for sale. That's the demo rig, but we can build you something like it. You know.
Oh, that's cheap.
What Dell is this? Today I have a Dell 5850. It's a Latitude 5480. This is the last of the 5480 reconditioned Latitudes that I'm selling. It's the last one I've got in stock, and this one's going out on sale this week because it was waiting for a new battery. I've just slapped a new battery in it today, and now I'm selling it. I'm not buying any more of these specific ones. I now stock in the Latitude 5400. But this is the last of the 5480s that I've got.
Just to interrupt for a second and completely derail, 2 terabyte SSD, £69.
Damn, which what?
It's a Micron 1100, so, but £69 for a 2 terabyte SSD.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty spectacular.
Wild. Yeah. Absolutely wild. I was looking because I was like, oh, we'll stick a 1 terabyte SSD in there. And I'm like, or a 2 terabyte is £70.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Are these Dells refurbished? Yeah, they're ex-business. So, yeah. Right. It's a LANCall 2. It doesn't have a 5800X in it anymore. It's got a 3800X in it at the moment. Which, oh no, it's got a 3950 in it. 3950X. Yep. It's got a 3950X in it, the EK AIO, and it's a 2070 Super. So yeah, So that's the thing. It's got it's a very oddball spec, but it's still fast, man. Like I was using it as a gaming system in here for quite a while, which is the other reason why I wasn't selling it. Because if I was in here in the evenings to play games with friends, that was the system I would use, and it has done everything I've thrown at it. Like it hasn't had to do high refresh. It's only had to do up to 60 FPS, and that's not difficult to attain. But it's done 60 FPS with a 1440p class monitor. So yeah, and it savages that as well.
As a rough guesstimate, CPU, motherboard, RAM, storage, case, power supply. Yeah, that's all you need on there. Raw component cost of the Hellcrack now.
Yeah.
Guessing 50 quid for the case. I don't know how much it actually was.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
You're looking at £390 component cost plus Windows.
Yeah. So call that 400 then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was 16 gigs of RAM as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So
16 gigs of RAM, £37.50.
Very well. Yeah. Yeah. So if I stuck that out,
if you stuck it out for $4.50,
yeah,
that's very fair.
Yeah, and like that's only that's only 50 quid profit, and people have been bashing me over the head, going, "You need to charge more." But on the other hand, I'm also more interested in just shifting stock at the moment.
It's also a case of obviously there's a built-in allowance for Windows in there that is much more expensive than Windows actually is.
Yeah.
And in a way, obviously, the way you bump up that price is it's $4.50 for computer. Oh, you need Office. That's £50.
Oh, have you added a Windows license?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No. But that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
We've added in a £13 allowance for the cost of Windows on the build cost when Windows doesn't cost 13 quid for that machine.
I'm just quickly checking what power supply I put in this.
Yeah.
Happy days. It's got an EVGA in it.
Yeah, I spec'd up with the EVGA 500 GD.
Yeah.
So a gold power supply that's 60 quid.
I just wanted to make sure that I didn't.
A case of...
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't put a biscuit tin in there because I didn't think it was going to get a graphics card.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got an EVGA in it, so you can actually put a graphics card in it.
Yeah.
Which is good because broadly speaking, this is why I try to build good instead of building cheap, just so I don't get caught out by stuff like that.
Yeah.
But...
You build cheap in the sense of being like, here is the EVGA 500 GD, which is a cheap power supply, but it's a good power supply.
Yeah. It's not a bomb, so yeah.
Yeah. It is not a SID.
Good. All right.
But yeah.
Let's see.
Also, just also the other thing as well is I think you should be charging for Office and stuff. You should, add Office on top of the price of you sell a PC for and make profit in there. And basically have kind of the Office price be an add-on profit. I've
got to find out. I need to go through the motions of being able to resell Office 365.
Well, not even that. Just Office 2021 Perpetual.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, because also like I've recently I went off of that because I had a string of bad keys from various locations, and I had customers who were coming back in going, "Hey, that copy of Office that you did for me, it's now saying that it's not activated or something," and I had to be like, "Oh, very sorry. There must have been some kind of problem. I'll just sort that out for you. Go and get yourself a copy." And it's extremely embarrassing if the key fails like a couple of days later, which sometimes happened.
Yeah.
So I was just like, right, I'm done with these because it's not reliable. Yeah. Windows activation, I don't mind grey market keys because once it says you're activated, that's it. You're done. You're set. But Office can just randomly say you're okay and then just suddenly decide you're not okay.
Yeah, it depends on how it's activated.
Yeah. Run activator and it's Gucci. Off the record, that's basically what I do, but I would never sell that because if you sell that, that's incredibly illegal. That's not just illegal; that's go to jail illegal.
Yeah.
So
it's obviously the difference of just fixing something.
Yeah, like it's
also the case of like if you pirate Office, like Office XP edition, the 2001 edition, because they need that specific version. I'm like,
who cares?
So they've also bought Office 365 for their modern stuff, but they need the old version to migrate from some ancient piece of software. No, I'm not going to make them pay £200 for 2 versions of Office.
Yeah,
what kind of stupidity is this?
Yeah. If the customer has demonstrably bought Office at some point, I have no issue with just reactivating whatever needs to be activated.
Yeah. If it's a case of you're just fixing the activation functionally.
Yeah. However, granting a new copy of Office to someone is kind of a different kettle of fish.
Absolutely not.
However, as said though, we've recently had conversations in the Discord about decent, reliable keys websites because obviously Windows 7 keys are no good for activating Windows anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to be buying a lot more keys in the future. And that, by extension, now I'm clued into some reliable websites. I shall probably start buying perpetual keys from there again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that kind of solves that issue anyway. But yes, I should be then making money on that.
Yeah.
So
and just obviously you charge the person 40 or 50 quid. It costs you slightly less than that. That gives you a little bit more profit on the build.
Yeah.
And everyone still thinks they need Office.
Yeah. TechSoup, I think it was a recycled key. I mean, isn't it confirmed that 7 keys don't work anymore? Or
as far as based on the testing that Psy and Wild Floor Lamp did, it appears you cannot activate or you cannot generate a new activated hardware ID using a Windows 7 key.
Yeah.
It appears you might be able to do stuff to then make it work, but simply bashing the key in doesn't appear to work.
Yeah. That's close enough to doesn't work anymore because I've got better things to do than jump through a ton of hoops in order to do it.
Yeah.
Like, there was once upon a time where Windows 7 was still kind of sort of supported, where I would build a new computer, install Windows 7 on it with a Windows 7 keygen, activate that, then take the free upgrade to Windows 10. You now have a free copy of Windows 10. But that stopped working when Windows 7 went out of support.
Yeah.
However, just even now, it's just like, oh my god, like Windows 10 keys are like £5. Just buy a key.
Yeah.
It's not expensive. Just buy a key. So at this point now, like while it was as simple as just stealing old Windows 7 keys from old laptops that were in the scrap pile, I was happy to do that.
Yeah.
But now that doesn't work anymore and I've got to start jumping through hoops. It's just like, no, I'm just going to buy a key like a normal person.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yes. At any rate then, so charging for Office as well then. So
absolutely.
the Hellcrack then, so we're saying $450 for that.
Yeah, which then gives you 50, 60 quid.
Yeah, and it gets it gone. So I should just stick that out on sale.
As you said, importantly, it gets it gone.
Yeah. And it has the potential to have a graphics card fitted to it in the future.
Yeah.
So it's not a terrible computer. It's just not in a gaming case. However, that doesn't matter. It also means that I have a low-end but new option which can be upsold, and I can upsell people on a newer case. Because if the kid's just like, I want the one with the window and the lights kind of thing, it'd be like, cool, that one's more expensive though.
And you can also go, here's one with the windows and the lights.
Exactly.
It's a second-hand case, but I'll do it for you for cheap.
Yeah.
Effectively, you can have that conversation to get rid of a case that isn't selling.
A $450 you consider that. I am not VAT registered, so no, in short.
Long and the short is the VAT isn't specifically a consideration just because of the way that obviously the limits work as well, because depressingly your turnover is not high enough.
Yeah, my turnover is too low for it to be mandatory for VAT, and because I'm primarily service-based, it would be bad for me to be VAT registered. I want to stay off of that for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it means the taxman takes 20% of my time, basically. And my time is a resource that I create out of thin air, so...
Oh, yeah. If you ever get close, you'll want to set up 2 entities, one that does hardware sales, builds, etc., and one that does servicing. Because then the 2 entities doing different things give you 2 limits, because they are 2 separate entities doing different services. But you'll have to run 2 sets of books and 2 sets of card payments.
Yeah.
2 sets of bank accounts. But if you're...
Is that legal? Because that sounds like tax avoidance. Like if you're doing it all out of the same premises.
Yeah, but if you are doing it separately, separate companies, separate warranties, etc.,
yeah,
then you are doing separate actions as separate companies.
Yeah, I suppose it's very much a case of... And
also it's a case of if you have separate staff, effectively, you've got your Saturday boy in who's doing the servicing.
Yeah.
And you're invoicing that.
Yeah, I suppose as far as the tax man is concerned, they'd be like, you're missing the point, but there's technically nothing I can do about this, so fine.
It's also the case of you're not lying. The important part is to not lie and to not deceive. If you make use of tools and facilities that are out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, as JD says, they're different things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tax avoidance, but it's generally accepted with accountants. Yeah, because again, it's in the same way. Yeah, it is a matter of like, there's nothing that anyone can do about that because, it's just there's nothing to stop you from doing that.
Because it's also a case of that's what I was saying about if you're running 2 sets of books, 2 sets of card payments, 2 sets of bank accounts, and so on.
Yeah.
You are very much doing.
Stack Social Office, cheap. Try one. What is Stack Social Office? What is that?
Probably some knockoff of Office.
Yeah, I was going to say LibreOffice. I can't believe it's not Office. These are no bueno. People want Microsoft Word.
Oh no, it appears to be a website. Stack Social is a website.
Oh,
is it? It seems to sell Office. Maybe.
Yeah, fair enough.
Get a code for Windows. Good. Give me a price.
Yeah, I was probably going to use that one that Sai has been using because Sai does a decent number of sales. So if it's working for Sai, then I trust it, basically.
Oh, there's the price. No, I'm not buying it for
$80.
I'm not buying it for $80.
No. Ooh, no.
Because if I was going to buy it for $80, I'd buy it off of Amazon.
Yeah, well, failing that, you'd buy it from Microsoft for nearly that much.
I'd imagine that. Oh no, it's professional. Professional's $200.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But even still, no, that is laughably expensive.
That is
£10, and we're talking,
Yeah. That is too much.
Yeah.
Too rich for my blood.
Cool. All right. So
what are we gonna do? Are we gonna look at the hardware we've got, or?
Maybe.
Oh my god.
My brain stalled. Shut up. Okay, right. Right, so yeah, the Hellcrack, we're kind of happy with that. I've just got to put the side panels back on that and it's ready to go. So no action is required with that. That's good to go. I think we should stick a price on the Lianli.
Oh, I see.
So
I don't know is the answer to that. I don't know if... maybe?
As in, maybe we should try and price it, or maybe
I think we should price it, but I don't know if we should. I don't think you should sell it as is.
No,
I think. Then again, I can't actually remember what's in this. I think we should be open to the idea of swapping parts around based off of what you've already got in the shop. Certainly not buying anything, but seeing what's in the shop and just seeing if any other combinations make more sense to us.
Sure. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's spec what I've got then.
Yeah.
So,
can you remember what motherboard you've got in there? Because I was going to walk over there and...
In the Lianli, it's got an X570 Strix in it.
Do you know which one?
Because
I was going to go eyeball it.
Oh, I see.
I was literally just going to look at
it. The E, but is there more than one Strix X570?
Yeah, there's the F.
Oh, right.
There's the F
the
and
F
the
and the E. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the F in that case, I believe. But yeah, you should probably double check.
It is the F.
Yeah.
And you have...
Okay. But the E's the one with built-in Wi-Fi, isn't it?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Take a pic. Yeah, I'll grab a picture of it just so people are referenced. Now both of the hosts will walk off the screen in order to go over to the computer.
Oh, no.
Whoop. Have I still said there's a 5800X in there?
Yeah,
I have. Yeah, that's a lie.
Yeah.
I'm a big fat phony, everyone.
Oh, dear.
Do
you remember which Trident Z this is? Is it the same one I've got? That random stick of?
Yes. The single one, yeah, because it was a kit of 4 and one of the modules was dead.
Yeah.
So,
the module's over there, isn't it? The dead one.
Yeah.
So I can actually look up which it.
Yeah, because we were going to RMA it, but it was not eligible for whatever reason.
Yeah, for weird reasons.
Yeah. Right, I am taking a picture of the Lian Li.
Excellent. Excuse me.
The RGB on the GPU is derped slightly, but it is what it is.
Yes. Skynet Tech stealing my company name. Oh no! Psy has been impersonated by people adding more letters and numbers. How dare they? How scandalous.
Settings, that's not what I want. Task Manager.
You good there?
Right, yeah, 3950X and 2070 Super, and it's got just a 1TB SSD in it. And the RAM is running at 2133 because apparently XMP is off on this right now, so who knows?
It is 3600 C16.
Very well.
X570-F.
Right, how to get this?
These parts have known compatibility issues. What?
Right, I'm just going to get this picture
it's because there's no
CPU.
It's because there's no CPU cooler. That's fine.
I see. Photos.
Okay.
Download.
Oh. Apparently the Elite just doesn't exist anymore.
Doesn't surprise me. It was ludicrously overpriced.
I will add the EK Nucleus instead.
Yeah.
As effectively a placeholder.
I mean, to be honest, I think we should just put in. I mean, how much is like the Deep Cool? Or how much is a premium AIO these days? 140, 150?
Yeah, it's 150 quid.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I've just put in as a placeholder for a premium, but not Corsair.
Yeah. Because like the EK was originally like 280 or something like that. It was no, I think it was closer to 200. It was bloody expensive, but I bought it with Amazon vouchers from the US, so the price is kind of ethereal, you know.
Yeah. 36.
I'm not expecting to get my full investment back on that because it's not a relevant cooler anymore. So, yeah. Right, let me get pictures up and we can start. And I can start taking notes. Could you put a USB-C connector on that Logitech keyboard repair? You could. But as I said to like the first person that asked that question in the comments, I think it's like you can do. I just don't think it's worth doing because it's not worth putting Type-C on everything unless you're actually committing to a pure Type-C desk, because otherwise you're going to have both cables on your desk anyway, and it's a lot easier to put the original in.
This is probably going to be the first time you'll hear, the first and only time you'll hear me complaining about a device coming with Type-C. But the charger for the watch is Type-C.
Yeah.
And that's really annoying because it's a Type-C obviously going into a port, so I can't plug it into any of the cables I've got that are Type-C cables and things like that. So it requires the use of a Type-C port. And it's only a watch charger.
Do you mean it's like the microphone receiver where it has a
Type-C
connector on
effectively?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it has, a cable that plugs into a port.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's kind of annoying.
It requires a socket to plug into.
I would have liked it if it had just a port on the charger so I could use my own cable.
Yeah, that's really stupid.
That's really annoying.
Yeah,
because if they just put a port on the actual charger, no cable at all, just a Type-C port on the charger, you could then use any charger.
Yeah, because Type-C output chargers are still relatively uncommon.
Yeah, I mean, I have lots because I'm in the group. I'm in that group, but it's also kind of a case where I'm just like, put a Type-C port on there so you can charge it with the same charger you use for your phone.
It's also terrible because even if you have a charger that has a Type-C output, now you have to plug that directly into the socket at the wall. And most people's sockets are not in an accessible location by design. You want to keep them out of the way. You don't have the charger on your desk.
It's just.
I guess their idea is you plug it into your laptop, but like, who does that? So that's just a stupid idea. Yeah.
Silly.
Yeah, that's hysterically terrible. Right. Photos. Let's split screen this. Whoop. Okay, right.
What SSD would we put in this? Would we just put a random decent 2 terabyte? For pricing.
Yeah. If we're speccing this to be a higher end, a medium/high end, so yeah, we should put a 2 terabyte in it. It's got a 1 terabyte in, but 1 terabyte really is starter storage, isn't it? You can get away with
based on the pricing currently. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah. Okay, right. Can I make that more? Okay, hang on a sec. I'll swap sides on these. Whoop. That's the Lianli. This is the PC we're talking about. Have some lovely aliasing there, I think. So, CPU is a 3950X.
Yeah, I'm just building it.
Yeah, I'm basically logging down what you have observed while you find prices, essentially. Yeah. Mobo is a X570 F Strix. I should probably put brands on these for posterity. Whoop. GPU is a MSI 2070 Super.
I think the internet died on this laptop for a moment there.
Because
it went absolutely wobbly and was refusing to add SSDs.
Do you guys fill out spreadsheets always? Either it's a crap camera. I mean, it was very difficult lighting we just did because the lights are off in the shop and there is sunlight coming in through the window to the right. I mean, it's probably aliasing a lot because it's a mesh front, and that's just causing a lot of aliasing. If you full screen the stream, you'll probably find that aliasing disappears. So, yeah. Guess I'm spoiled for these. I mean, it's a Pixel, so, you know, this sounds like a skill issue, but anyway. Right. 16 gig. 3600 we decided.
Yeah. What do you say it was? A Lancool?
Lancool 2.
Oh, that's not how it's spelled? Oh, it's all one word.
That'll do.
The cheapest Lancool 2 105.
Let's see.
There we go.
What else do we need in there?
We need a power supply.
Oh yeah. It's got I can't remember what it's got in there at the moment. Has it still got... At one point, it had an EVGA Supernova in it. I don't know if it still has that, though. I'm going to double check. Oh, yeah, no, it still has the Supernova in it. It's got a 750 watt Supernova. EVGA Supernova 750. Supernova.
Oh, there. I will add that as a kind of reasonable option. There you go. Raw parts cost based off of new pricing, which isn't necessarily what it would be, is 1684, so 1700.
84. Yeah, see,
but that's a 3950X costing £485.
I was going to say that's
stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's not a real price basically. No. So the question is, what's it worth now?
Yeah, and basically it's a case of that'll be flicking through eBay to write down prices for that, which is what I'm going to do in a second. Also, I swapped the graphics card from a 2070 to a 3070 just to try and get slightly more sane pricing.
Yeah.
Because the only 2070 that was in stock was £1,200.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was about to try and snap this window.
Imagine snapping on a Mac.
Are you gonna scribble prices?
I can do, yes. Yes. As if you start quoting prices, then I'll note them down. So yeah. Yeah. Because I was a bit worried when I dropped the 5800X out of this one. However, because it's got the 20 series GPU in it, putting the 3950X in it actually kind of brings it closer to period correct. So, fine.
Yeah. Put down 230 for the 3950X.
230.
And then what's that? That's an X570. X570.
Yeah.
X570 -F. Gaming. That's how you spell gaming in the slightest. So then 175 for the motherboard.
175.
Are we just going to take 16 gigs of RAM is 40 quid?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Before we go any further,
2070 Super is £200.
Yeah. I think this is going to give us another unrealistic price because I don't think it's worth the sum of its parts, if you see what I mean.
Well, that's how much it would cost someone to build the computer, though.
Yeah, but how much would it cost to build someone a modern equivalent that would be better, kind of thing? Because, you know, like, you can buy a decent CPU for £230. You can buy a decent motherboard for £175, like brand new.
Sure, but would it be better than the X570-F gaming? Because it's also a case of that's still a decent motherboard.
Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's let this play out and see what we end up with.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How much did the line call to?
Okay, right. That was cooling. What have I missed off this list? Case.
Line call to £87
for a second-hand case. Yeah, that sounds fair.
116 brand new. Yeah. 80 quid. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stick in 80 quid for a quote-unquote used case.
And then the other prices were for new relevant components. So yeah, EIO 150 quid.
Yeah. How much did we decide for RAM? May as well put
£76.70 for that actual kit.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Which would be,
again, that's We'll put these in as like current eBay value, and then we're going to have to do another pass with a just like corrected for realism price kind of thing, aren't we?
And
that's going to give us the actual real value of this PC.
Yeah, 2TB SSD, £105 because it's a Crucial P5 Plus. So I just picked something that was decently
how much? Sorry,
bottom of the barrel, 105.
105,
which seems a little steep.
Is that for 1 terabyte?
2.
A 2 terabyte. Okay, yeah.
And then 76 quid for an EVGA 700.
76. Okay. So, oh my god, so I'm having to put in pound symbols, and I'm wondering if there's a better way of doing it. There probably is.
Format the cells.
Yeah. Won't that mess up the title bar, or is it smart?
No.
Cool. All right. Be gone. All right. Format and number
and then currency.
Currency. Bam. There we go.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then if you just equal sum.
Yeah.
Open bracket.
Total. Oh. There we go. Right, that brings us down to 1100,
which is far more reasonable.
So yeah, we're getting somewhere. However, I still feel so we're not in the realms of absurdity anymore. So the question is, could you build something new for 1100 that would be better than that? That's the next question, isn't it? Because some of those individual prices I think are too steep. Like obviously 76 quid for 16 gigs of DDR4 is nonsense. But also we do have to remember the whole thing is RGB'd out the wazoo as well.
Has value. Also it's a case of that is pretty RGB RAM. And if you want pretty RGB RAM, that's how much you spend.
Yeah.
So it depends on whether you're going, are we looking at what a cheap PC absolutely stripped to minimum looks like? You know, absolutely ground down to the last penny price to build a PC. Because, sure, you'll find 200 quid in this. But it's not the computer that's there that everyone looks at that's RGB.
Yeah.
So it depends on whether you're selling someone a cheap computer that looks nothing like the computer that's over there because it's got the same performance, or whether you're selling them the computer that's over there that people are looking at because it's pretty.
So, hypothetically, to make myself feel better, what if I just said 999? Isn't it?
Sure.
You know, like saying like, okay, let's assume that not all of the parts are worth that much. But then that's taking 100 off of that. And if I actually went through that, we can't scrape off. I mean, we could take like 20 quid out of the RAM. We could take 20 quid out of the drive, but that's only 40 quid out. The rest of it, those prices are actually not insane. So like.
But I also, at the same time, selling it for 999 doesn't seem unrealistic.
Yeah.
Because also you're trying to get rid of it.
Yes, precisely that. And it does bear mention that it's 2 generations out of date, you know.
Sure, but the parts price currently selling on eBay is...
Yeah, I'm kind of devil's advocating there, you know.
Above 999. Yeah. Therefore, you selling it for 999 isn't a bad deal.
Yeah,
because they're also getting a warranty of you being a physical brick and mortar store.
Yeah.
So they have to pay more for that.
Yeah. If I slaps that in and said, okay, it costs $1,000, price to sell kind of thing, decent PC, and then if I want to get some more margin, I can say data transfer will cost you a bit extra, Office will cost you a bit extra, and nickel and dime basically.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and obviously a case of you could swap parts around for more cost efficiency if for some reason you thought it was more cost efficient to do that.
Yeah.
But you've got to remember the fact of part of what you're selling is that computer in its current configuration. Did you add any fans to it other than the ones that are on the AIO?
Not specifically. There are
because there were 6 with that.
Yeah, so there's
3 of them are on the AIO.
There's 6 on the RAD, and there's another 3 at the top and back. So the 3 at the top and back originally came with the case.
Oh, I see.
I moved them to the top and back when I put in the AIO.
Ah, I see. Okay.
If I sold this, I would be very tempted to take out 3 of the EK fans because the radiator doesn't need 6 fans. I've just got them on there just for gratuitousness.
Yeah. Well, see, to me, wouldn't you just take those 3 fans off of the back of the AIO, put them at the top of the case and the back of the case, and then keep the LAN cool ones?
Yeah.
Because they'd still be plugged into the EK controller, and those EK fans can't be used elsewhere, can they?
They can.
Have they got a proprietary connector?
Nope, they're standard ARGB.
Oh, okay.
However, if I was keeping this, I was planning on taking the 3 original Lian Li fans out anyway because they've got the worst color balancing in the world. Like eagle-eyed people will notice that the rear fan in that picture is pink. It is set to the same blue as the rest of the blue in this case, and it is very demonstrably showing pink. Those Lian Li fans, I don't know if they've aged badly or if they were that bad out of the box, but at any rate, the color balancing on them is awful, which means they don't play well with others. So my original plan was actually to take them out and put them in another case on their own, where the color balancing won't really matter.
Yeah.
Because they're on their own. The color balance isn't a problem unless you're mixing it with other stuff, basically.
Yeah.
So purple, pink, So why aren't I using MS Office? Because I like Google Docs because I work across multiple computers. I know I said that everyone wants Microsoft Word. I like Google Docs because I work on multiple computers, which means Google Docs is far more practical for me. So, purpink, fuchsia. So all right. So, all right. Decision made. So that's going to be $1,000. Action list for this. I need to get a 2 terabyte SSD because it's got a 1 terabyte in it at the moment.
Yeah.
And remove Lian Li fans. and by extension relocate some of the EK fans. So we've put a price on that, and I've got an action list of the adjustments that need to be made for it before it gets sold. Yeah. So I will action that this week, and I will put a price tag on it.
Yeah. And then the next one, that one?
Yeah, the Stream PC.
Yeah. Is that X570F as well?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have two X570Fs, and that's the other one.
Yeah.
This PC's got a
over there.
Yeah, so
and this should have a 3700X.
Yeah, it's got a 3700X in it at the moment.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's a slightly weak CPU, but there's nothing inherently wrong with it.
Yeah.
So
3700X, 85, 87 pound. Yeah, 80,
right.
88 pound.
Copy of sheet 1. So 3700X. I'll just slap in 85 for some nice round numbers.
Yeah.
Still got the same motherboard in it. GPU, it doesn't have one, so we need to find a GPU for it.
Yeah. What have you got?
So we'll.
You've got a 5600 and
I've got a 5600. Actual usable. Hang on a minute. Let me just quickly check because I've got a couple of graphics cards in boxes. I don't think I have anything high enough to be worth putting in this. But right, the Gigabyte.
One? Oh, that's a. Is it a 1080 you've got?
5600 XT. Excuse the rustling, everyone. I'm just trying to see what's in this plastic bag.
Oh, it's a 1070. Okay.
There we go. Right. What are you?
1070.
Oh, I've got two 5600 XTs.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I had another one in a box that I'd forgotten that I owned.
I've just forgotten about all these graphics cards.
Well, they all appeared under random circumstances, like they came bundled with other job lots of parts that I had. So they kind of got mixed in and forgotten about, and like some of them were listed as, not sure if it works or not and stuff like that. However, upon testing them, both these cards are known goods. So I was like, okay, cool.
Do you care for one?
Yes, I shall. I'm not going to have a heavy one though. Have we got anything lighter? I'm going to have a rummage in the box.
I'm going to rummage in the box for things.
Yes.
Things
what
and
are
stuff.
These? Are these the remains of the Hogans? Oh, this is all mixed. There's a Thatcher's Rosé.
Ah, lovely. Yes.
Oh wait, we've still got the Wild Elderflower on the go. We've got a box on the go, so I'm going to have some of that.
So what are these? These are 6600 XTs?
Oop.
No, that's a 5600 XT. And this is a...
That's not clean.
5600 XT. I for some reason thought you said you had a 6650 XT. 5600 XT.
What's the 5600 XT an equivalent to, NVIDIA-wise?
Based on its sell price of about £100.
Oof.
Approximately 5600 XT. I would guess it's the equivalent of a
1060. It's got to be higher than that.
Is a 2060 Super.
2060 Super? Well, that's not terrible.
Yeah. That's roughly what I guess, just because the 5700 XT is a 2070 Super, 2080 Super.
That makes it a solid 1080p card, doesn't
this
it?
generation of AMD card was weird. In some stuff, they were here compared to the NVIDIA, and other stuff, they were here.
Yeah.
So it was just a case of, it depends on which benchmark you're looking at, because for some of the stuff, the 5700 XT was faster than the 2080 Super, but then in other stuff, it was slower than the 2070.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay.
Yeah. But you could put that in and call it a solid 1080p graphics card that will just demolish 1080p for you. Yeah. And that's good enough because, again...
It will do 1080p 60 in basically everything.
Yeah. And like that's...
For the time being.
That's what, my target market, that's what they're playing at.
Although it is only 6 gig, so it will start struggling just because obviously 8 gig is starting to struggle on some stuff at higher reses. Yeah. But... if you're selling it for £90 to £100, then that's absolutely wrong. absolutely not wrong.
All right, so what are we saying? 100 quid?
Yeah.
All right, 100 quid, done. RAM, it's got 16 gigs of Corsair RGB RAM. What speed is this? Have we got XMP on as a treat? We've got it at 3266. What is that?
I don't know.
I'm blaming you.
Probably.
Did you try to overclock this RAM?
I doubt it. I blame Asus motherboards confusing me and me being but a simple man.
You just don't get it, man. You don't get Asus.
It's true. It's true.
A giga fanboy.
Yes.
A giga boy. There's some kind of nickname joke in here somewhere.
Ah, yes, a giga boy.
A giggle boy. Was getting a solid 75 FPS in Far Cry 6 on high with a 5600 XT, a 3600 rig. Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, that's AAA, isn't it? So, yeah. I'm going to assume that this is like 3200.
Why?
I'm going to put it in as 3200 because it can do at least that.
Why?
Corsair.
Guess how much a 1070 is? A 1070 Aero, like the blower you've got over there.
120.
130.
Yeah. I mean, the 1070 is
slower than these cards that were £80 to £90.
Yeah, but it was a solid performer because, like, don't forget the 1060 Ti. The 1060 has been a workhorse for years and is only the 1060 has only just become essentially unviable kind of thing. I say unviable. It
is. It's a 40 to 50 FPS at 1080p card.
Yeah, so it's only just fallen below the threshold of viable, and that means that the 1070 is still viable kind of thing.
Sure, but these cards are faster and cheaper.
Yeah, however,
which is why I'm kind of like...
It's AMD. It's AMD. No one knows what a Radeon is. I don't know what a Radeon is. You know, they're good cards.
Do I look like I know what a JPEG is?
They're good cards. It's just no one has any idea what the product stack looks like. You know, case in point, I didn't know how good a 5600 XT was. Like the 6000 series, I've got a reasonable grasp of, because the 6000 series, you cannot ignore it, because right now it's basically the best bang for buck on the market. But the 5000 series, I don't actually know what it's capable of. So, Graham's still an Asus fanboy. I've kind of fallen out of love with them. I've got a lot of Asus gear and it's doing its job. Like the X570 Strix boards that I've got lying around, these have been workhorse motherboards for me. I like them a lot.
I have nothing against Asus as long as it's not in my computer. If that makes sense.
Just don't come at me with Asus, yeah.
You know, if that makes sense, I'm not going to build with it, but I'm not going to tell someone they're wrong for building with it.
Yeah.
Whereas I would tell someone they're wrong for spending £300 on a 3050 when the 6600 XT exists for £190.
Asus. Yeah, however, that much being said, I don't think I would be buying a new Asus motherboard at the moment, just because I just don't like their product stack at the moment. I don't like the way that the Strix now costs like £300+ when it was supposed to be, you know, the quality build mid-ranger, you know, the all-rounder, whereas now it's like the semi-premium and the tough has taken its place, and the tough motherboards are just boring.
Yeah.
You know, I don't, you know, the tough branding is just, there's nothing wrong with it, it's just boring. You know, whereas the Strix motherboards were always like, yeah, that's a good-looking motherboard with a nice spec on it and it's reasonably priced.
Yeah.
You know, they were a no-brainer, and now they cost too much, I think. So yes, the RMA processor is horrid. I wouldn't know because I buy everything from Amazon. So Amazon go brr. I tell you one thing, Amazon, you don't even have to box it up to send it back anymore. Have you seen this?
No.
So on with Amazon now, case in point, I bought some RAM for a laptop that turned out to be not required for the customer. And so I was just like, oh, that's no problem. I'll return it to Amazon. I went to Amazon, hit the return button, and they were like, drop off with post office unboxed. And I was like, what do you mean unboxed? What am I going to do? Put it in a post box? No. I said, yes, I want to return, refund onto my Amazon account. I walked across the road to the post office. I showed them the QR code on my phone and just gave them the box of RAM. And the lady took out an Amazon branded bag, put it in the bag, and that was it. I didn't even have to box it up.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful. So, yes.
Absolutely. For the Rugaba RAM.
Yes.
Buy now new price is 50 quid.
Okay, let's put in 50 for that then. Yep. Cool.
Assuming it's a 3600-ish kit.
So are we going to put it's 3200, but that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, you're not losing speed at that point. You know, as long as you stay above 3000, you're fine. Has always been my rule of thumb. If you go below
3600 or bust.
Yeah, but if it's when you go below 3000 that you're actually probably losing meaningful performance. You know, everything else is like, sure, that'll show up in the benchmarks, but you're probably not going to feel it. Whereas if you go below 3000, you're going to start feeling that. You know.
Yeah. I've not. Yeah.
You still have a post office down. Yeah, Shaftesbury Post Office is still going strong. The great thing is the post office because the post office is a business. They're a private business. Allowed Royal Mail, but the good thing is they seem to be surviving quite well because other services that are disappearing from the high street have consolidated to the post office. So like all of the banks that have disappeared from the high street, you can deposit your money into those banks at your local post office now. So the post office have pivoted quite expertly into doing everything that everyone else has left for.
Yeah.
So, it looks like, they're doing Amazon pickup and collection. They're probably doing a bunch of other courier collection and drop-off points. They're doing bank deposits and stuff like that. They're obviously providing all of the usual postal services. So I'm fairly confident that the post office is going to survive quite well, which is great because they're across the road from me. So I can get a whole bunch of services from them.
Yeah.
Like cash money, is that still a thing? It is, and some people are very passionate about it. So yeah, Royal Snail. You say that, but special delivery, I swear by it. I can't wait for an Ann Summers post office combined store. I don't know what that means, but it's just funny to think about. I thought it was funny.
Oh no.
Anyway, don't Google search Ann Summers. Anyway,
SSD. God, I don't want. Pension day.
SSD. What are we putting in this? Can we get away with a 1 terabyte SSD in this, just so I can use up the ones?
because a 2 terabyte is 40 quid new. If that makes sense. If we're talking about pricing it new, no. Yeah. But because we're using up what you've got as well, yeah, absolutely, no, of course.
Also, though, that much being said, like we're probably going to recase this into one of the nice cases with the RGB fans as well. So again, it's worth putting 2 terabyte in it, isn't it?
Sure. It depends. Are you building this out of parts you already own to get rid of them?
I'd like to use parts that I've got.
Because using up SSDs seems less necessary. If we're going out and buying SSDs, that seems less egregious than going out and buying unnecessary motherboards, sort of thing.
If it's for a gaming PC, then 2 terabytes is needed. Yeah. Okay. I mean, we are billing this one as another premium rig.
Yeah.
So sure. Okay. So 2 terabyte NVMe. So our realistic price for that is did we decide 60 quid for a 2 terabyte these days, or was it 70?
A P3 Plus 2 terabyte is £85.
Yeah. All right, sure. Put in 85 then.
A standard P3 2 terabyte is £78.
Yeah. I kind of want to use the Plus because I'm trying to move away from the cheaper SSDs now, because now I've got decent SSDs in my PC at home. I have seen the light, and decent SSDs are worth every penny, in my opinion. cheap SSDs are fine, they work, but the decent ones, they really are better.
Yeah, and then the P5 Plus is £105 as we priced up the other one.
Yeah. 4970K has the same single thread rating as a 3700X. Citation needed. I find that very hard to believe. Yeah.
I'd be surprised. I would expect a 3700X to be matched or just beaten by the 6th gen.
Yeah.
Just because, the 3700X and by extension the 2700X single thread are weak.
Yeah. Also, like, a single thread score in Cinebench shouldn't be your only gauge for that.
Yeah.
Because Cinebench is not the de facto for CPU performance. It is an indicator, but yeah.
HW.
But all the same though, it's kind of a case of like, what's your argument here that we should be buying a 4th gen CPU on the cheap instead? Because that's not something I want to do just because I don't want to sell 8-year-old hardware, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
And the rest, actually, when was 4th gen? 2013 or 2014?
2012?
Was it that far?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Do you stock old hard drives? No.
Maybe 10 years old.
Hard drives are bad. Yeah, they all go in the bin.
4170K. And whilst I realise this is a really bad way of doing it, the absolute maximum Cinebench R23 single core on a 4790K is 1385.
Okay.
And on a 3700X single core it's 1641.
Oh wow.
So balls to the wall overclock to balls to the wall overclock, the 3700X is faster.
Yeah.
And if that makes sense, obviously I'm comparing peak tuned LN2 to peak tuned LN2.
Yeah. But
to
also,
kind of give us best possible numbers.
And on top of that, I would believe that you can overclock a 4th gen Intel a lot further from stock than a 3700X as well.
Guess so, yeah.
I would believe that it would have a lot higher gains. So in which case, that's a very, very generous comparison.
Geekbench 5.
That's very favourable to the thing as well. So yeah.
Geekbench 5, 14, 41. Yeah, and then in Geekbench, it's the 3700X is slightly faster as well. So I would say that the 3700X single core is faster, but it is nowhere near as much faster as people would imagine, given the fact that there's sort of 8 years between the two of them. But it's also the fact of we're comparing 2 generations of Zen from Bulldozer to core architecture, which never had a Bulldozer moment.
Yes.
So it's kind of a case of, I would expect there to be that incredible discrepancy on single core.
Yeah.
But the benefit of the 3700X is obviously it's got 8 cores, 16 threads, as opposed to 4 cores, 8 thread.
Yeah. Right. Power supply. I could lob in that RM650X I've got over there.
I thought you said that RM650X was dicky.
Not to my knowledge. I've got an RM1000X.
Oh, it's the 1000,
Yep, the RM1000X is sus.
Yeah.
Which is very frustrating because it means that I can't sell it because I can't trust it.
Yeah. Well, you can. Yeah, but you can sell the Game Max though.
Yeah,
and then you can put the RM in there.
Do we want it in there though?
Well, why not?
Yeah.
In which place is it more useful? Sat on a shelf not doing anything, or meaning that you can sell that power supply?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
That's how I'm viewing it.
Yeah. Plus, also, its failure mode is like once a night in daily use, it will cut out.
Yeah.
And so if we were using it for testing stuff, once during a session, it might cut out at random, and then we go, there we go, it's done, it's cut out. It won't do that again.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah.
So if that makes sense to me, it would make more sense to me to stick it in the place where it's of value to you.
Yeah. And we don't particularly
frees up something for sale than sitting on a shelf and not being used at all.
Yeah, fair enough. In any case, I'll stick the RM650X in this machine because I feel like that's an appropriate power supply for that rig.
Yeah.
What are we going to value an RM650X at?
eBay says £90 £35, £40. What?
I see.
What are these prices? RM 650X, 40 quid. That's not a RM, is it? Oh yeah, it is.
I'm saying 50 quid for a second-hand RM 650X.
Is it the new style or the old style? Is it the grey label or the black label? Because if it's the black label, I would be saying, yeah, like 50 quid. If it's the grey label, I'd be saying like...
What does the black label look like?
The modern one.
Oh yeah, no, this is grey label.
Oh, so it's the older style.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, 40 quid.
Cool, 40 quid for a second-hand power supply. I've got to find cables for that. However, out of all of the bajillion Corsair power supply cables, we must have a set of cables for that somewhere.
Yeah. So, and if it comes down to it, as well, obviously you've got all of the parts from various other ones and stuff as well.
For the amount of cables I went through on my personal rig for Corsair cables, I must have a spare set of cables. So, right, cooling.
A tower cooler for 20 quid.
Yeah. So it just depends on whether I want to put in the bare essentials or put on a nice cooler. It's only a 3700X. Like right now, it's running on a tiny little Cooler Master Hyper Evo. So there's not really any reason to put anything higher than that on it. I've got a Peerless Assassin that I bought for cheap, but I'm kind of saving that for when someone comes in and needs a big air cooler for their gaming PC because their water cooler has fallen over, which is what I used the last one on. So yeah, okay, we'll stick there.
Thermalright Assassin King SC, no idea what that is specifically, but that's 30 quid. Thermalright Assassin Spirit V2 Plus is 32 quid. Deepcool AG 400 BKA RGB 33 quid. So yeah. Cooling something, 30 to £35 is entirely reasonable if you're going for something a little bit more.
As system builders, flashy. What are your feelings about MoboMakes these days? Oh, Windows Defender summary. Microsoft Defender antivirus did not find any threats into your last summary. Thanks. Why are you telling me this? Right. Are Asus back in favour? Well, I still buy whatever motherboard seems to fit my requirements and price at the time.
It's basically a case of, for me, I look at what the otherwise general build is and then find the cheapest one that meets that requirement effectively.
Yeah, basically that. I will look at the kind of level of motherboard I'm looking for and find the cheapest one that fits that spec. So if I'm building a mid-range PC, like if we had to buy a motherboard for this right now, I would just bash in X570 motherboard and look for the cheapest one that doesn't look awful, pretty much. If I was building my own PC, I would be taking a lot more into account, like how it looks. Does it fit the style of the computer I'm trying to build? Is it a brand that I particularly like? But there's kind of no winners and losers with motherboards right now. Pretty much you can list any brand you like, and someone will say, "Oh, there's this wrong with them." Asus pissed everyone off with their warranty status recently. I think it was. What was it? Warranty that everyone was angry about with Asus?
Yeah.
Yeah. And warranty because of motherboards exploding. Gigabyte have had hit and miss stuff. They make good boards and bad boards. ASRock have got good boards and bad boards. They've been,
although to be fair, mostly bad boards.
Yeah.
You have to pick the good ones as opposed to just kind of going, oh, that one's the dodgy one, I'll avoid that one.
Broadly speaking, the Tai Chi has always been fairly solid, and so on. So it's kind of pick your poison, really.
Yeah, but it looks like if you were picking the cheapest board right now that was kind of ticking the boxes, it looks like you're looking at an ASRock or an MSI anyway.
Yeah.
Right now, based off of, AM4 for this build.
That doesn't surprise me. I often find myself using MSI boards for customer builds because they always seem to be the best bang for buck looking motherboard when I'm actually looking.
Yeah.
And, they've had, the MSI X570 Gaming, I think it was a board that got absolutely slayed in reviews. But I've got one over there. It's one of the parts that I've got lying around that needs to get used up. And it's never put a foot wrong. It's fine. I've had a 5800X in there, and it's been fine. And everyone was just like, oh, that motherboard is terrible. It's fine. It works. I don't know what people are talking about, Sample size of 1, obviously, but still. So it's just, yeah. All right, so the case. What chassis shall we put it in? We've got 2 Corsairs to choose from. We've got a Corsair 220T, or we've got a I can't even remember what that is now.
A 220T is about 45 quid.
Can anyone help me identify this? What is this guy?
Isn't it a 175R?
Yeah, that's it. It's a 175R Airflow.
And the Corsair 175R is about 40 to 50
That sounds about right. Yeah, 40 quid for a used case. So.
Oh my god, that was £35 with £20 shipping. Okay, so it's 50 quid.
Yeah, all right. It's still a premium case, tempered glass side panel. I will throw RGB fans into this as a bonus because I've got them.
Another tenner.
Sure, for an extra tenner, yeah, because that means that it's now an RGB computer kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I might have to put
that on there as 60 quid for the case. Then,
yeah.
Including the RGBness.
This doesn't have a controller in it. The 220T has a controller though, so
does it need a controller?
For the Corsair fans, yes.
Oh, because they won't plug into the motherboard.
Yeah. Hypothetically, I could stick the Lianli fans in here and run those off of the motherboard, but I don't know how I feel about that. I guess it doesn't matter because I've got 2 Corsair cases and 1 controller. This never originally came with RGB, so there's a better argument for using the Lianli fans in this.
That's what I would do.
And then leave, because the 220T was originally an RGB case. It's theoretically supposed to have a controller, so it makes more.
That's the way around I'd do it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll stick the Lianli fans in this, run those off of the motherboard.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, yes, it's got a bunch of Corsair fans in it. I've just stolen the controller. I can't remember what happened to that. It got used in something else. So, yeah. Cool. All right. So that's a build. So that's the 175 Airflow. I'm going to call that 50 quid for the case to allow for the fact that it'll have the RGB fans in. So that's 600 or 605 total.
Do you want to stick the sheet on the left now?
Yes, I shall, because we're not even talking about the Lianli anymore. Oops. Bath. I'll leave that there as Phil, yep. Okay, so that's 605.
Hi, Phil.
So yeah, size setting 695. So that's just shy of 700 quid. I mean, that's not bad, is it? 700 quid for a fairly capable PC.
What GPU have you got on that?
That's with the 5600 XT in it. Or should we say 650
I'd say
to sell?
650. I would be saying 650 personally.
Yeah.
Just knowing what the pricing's like in this town.
Yeah.
And it being weirdly weak.
Yeah.
Given how much money there is in the town.
That's it.
It's weirdly weak.
The other thing as well that we have to remember is that we are competing with Facebook prices.
Even though they're selling tat.
Even though Facebook are selling junk, there's only so much you can convey to the customer that the competition is junk. They're still going to look at that and be like, well, it's cheaper, so that's still what I'm going to buy. And no matter how stupid that choice may be, it's still a choice that the customer will make.
Yeah.
So, and once again, I'm pricing these to sell at the end of the day. I need to get rid of this stock so I can buy new modern stuff.
Oh wow. To buy a 220T with fans, you're looking at 56 quid. Sorry, to buy a second-hand one with fans, you're looking at 56 quid.
Yeah.
So all the ones that sold for less than that had no fans.
Damn. I mean, it was a great case.
Yeah.
You know, this is why I love the 220T so much. It was, you know, its standard retail price was like 80 quid. And for that, you get a Corsair case with tempered glass, 3 RGB fans and a USB controller for those fans. That is cracking good value for money.
Yeah.
You know. And obviously you can buy lots of RGB cases for less money than that come with RGB and tempered glass, but they don't come with a Corsair badge on them. You know.
And obviously, whilst they're the cheap Corsair RGB fans, they're still using decent LEDs in them.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, Corsair RGB, as overpriced as it is, looks spectacular.
Yeah.
So yeah, where is your work price in this, Graham? It's kind of not, because I'm just trying to sell off stock right now.
Yeah. These aren't being priced for actual sort of making money selling PCs. These are being priced up to sell parts.
Yeah.
To give justification for buying new shiny computers.
That's it.
Effectively.
Yeah. Because I've got no demo PCs right now because I can't afford to buy any. I can't afford. I can't justify buying new demo rigs for sale when I've got all of these parts lying around.
Yeah.
Like we've got 2 computers we've just done. We've got another one we can do next.
Yeah.
Well, most of another one.
Well, we can do another one because we've literally got another GPU.
We've got another GPU. We've got another CPU and another motherboard over there.
Yeah.
There's a 5800X and an X570 board over there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it needs RAM and stuff, but like if we start totting this up, I bet we can find enough to finish it.
Yeah, exactly. Have you got DDR4 in here that's going spare?
I don't think so.
Not really.
I don't think we've got any more nice RAM kits. So this is the one where we're going to have some holes that need to be filled, because also we're probably going to need a power supply, because like the next one we do, it doesn't make sense to put the 1050 in it.
What other power supplies have you got?
I don't think I do.
Oh, you've got that CX430 that is not sellable.
Yeah, the only other power supplies I've got are junk power supplies, which I would not want to sell. They're only really good for just when we're doing stupid stuff in here.
Yeah.
So yeah, the next one we do, we're actually going to have to buy some parts.
I was just looking just to see what processor this is.
Yeah.
It should be a 3700X. Oh, it's a 3800X.
Yeah.
I would say that we should put the 3800X from this in the Strix board.
Yeah.
Just because the Strix board is a better board, quote unquote.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because also we're building these up in order of strength.
Oh my god. Sod it, I'll put that back when I've not got things in both hands.
Give me that.
There we go.
Yeah. We'll, I would agree with that sentiment.
Because it's a slightly better board, it's going to have a slightly flashier RAM kit, etc. So
yeah,
I'd put the better CPU in there. And this one effectively will build down to a price just because the board doesn't look as fancy.
Okay, so that wants a 3800X.
Yeah, which I will give you a price on from eBay in 2 seconds, and we can...
Yeah. Is that going to change the price we spec it out to?
eBay says a 3800X is 160 quid brand new, or £90 second hand.
£90 second hand. Okay, so that would take us up to 610. So again, 650, just rounding. Yeah. I'm still okay with that.
Yeah.
Because again,
especially if you push slightly and go data transfer, 50 quid.
Yeah. The other thing to bear in mind as well is that you might say sort of, oh, that's only 40 quid profit. But also, all of these parts is dead stock that I've had sitting around for literally a year plus now.
Getting the money for having the parts sold is arguably almost worth more at this point than holding the part.
I have fundamentally recovered from the loss of buying these parts. So, you know, as far as my accounts are concerned, this would be 650 quid profit. Because I've already absorbed the loss of all of these parts that I have lying around.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm willing to fire sale them like this. So, yeah. Did you ever go back to the Fractal Pops? Not yet. Fractal Pop
You did a build in one, did you?
Yeah, I've done a couple of Fractal Pop builds. It's still a case that I really like. And, like, if I sold all of this stuff tomorrow and just had the money to go and build a new one, I would probably put it in a Fractal Pop because it's a really good-looking modern case. That's a chassis that I will be buying another one of those at some point. So yes. What was need a Liambio 11 type as a shiny PC?
for about 90 quid.
In terms of shop display or new demo computer, I was watching Jay's 2 cents the other day.
Are you about to talk about his water cooling specking video?
Not specifically. Okay. He's rebuilding his Case Labs SM8, I think it is, which is his old unicorn case kind of thing. He's rebuilding it, and he was like respraying it and stuff like that. And I was watching that going, is it time to bust out the Cooler Master ATCS and like drill out all the rivets, take it apart into panels, respray it, build it up, like gut out the hard drive cage and put a sick water-cooled display PC in it?
JD agrees.
No, Graham, never. Why not? I like that Cooler Master is sitting out there. It's my Case Labs equivalent, and I would
build your PC into it, if that makes sense.
I'm not going to daily drive it again.
Your PC in it,
yeah,
and do that. If that was the project, I'd do it to make it your PC.
Yeah, I suppose,
because that's what I think it should be, or your PC for the shop.
Yeah.
Yes. But beyond that, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, this would be a long-term thing. I'm not planning on doing this tomorrow or anything.
No.
I saw that video and it gave me ideas, and I was just like, man, I'm coming around to the idea that it might be time to bust out my Cooler Master, because like if I did that, it could go in the window as like a real showpiece kind of thing. And like it doesn't have to have good spec in it. It would just have to have pretty spec in it. So like I could put in just old hardware, but just old but pretty hardware. You know, something that is just new enough to support modern RGB, like X470 or something like that, where the spec of the board and the CPU doesn't particularly matter. Yeah. It's more the fact that it would be a custom spray painted classic case with custom water cooling in it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but also, as Si says, make sure you've got space for the latitudes, and the latitudes are actually out there.
Oh yes, that's my top priority at the moment. I've got more latitudes coming on Tuesday, and again, I am 100% on that latitude bandwagon now, because they are money makers.
Yeah. So, did you get a smaller one?
Not yet. I'm
Are you going to wait for the? Oh yeah, you only recently bought those.
Yeah. Also, I don't have the upfront capital to buy a whole bunch of them yet, so I'm buying the ones that I know I can reliably sell to anyone, which is the 14-inch ones. Because
I thought the 14-inch was the small one.
There's a 13-inch. Yeah, there's a 13, 14, and 15.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the 5400 is the 14-inch. And 14-inch is a magic number for laptops, because people who've got 15-inch laptops, you can be like, it's a little bit smaller and more compact than your current one, but it has the same resolution, and they'll probably go for it. And if they've come from a 13-inch, you can be like, it's got a slightly bigger display, but doesn't weigh a whole lot more. Yeah. So 14 is mega reliable, whereas the 13 and 15s will be a little bit more polarizing, I think. At some point, I'll get those in as options, as per the discussion we had last week. But right now, while I don't have the capital to invest in stuff that might sit on the shelf for a while, I'm just buying 14s because I know they're going to go. How much for a 5590? No idea. However much it is on eBay. Right, so so Mike, with you pay tax on profits regardless of VAT status. Yes, well, you pay tax on everything you earn over the minimum threshold, but you angle your books so you don't earn more than that minimum threshold.
But it's also a case of you actually need to earn that much.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you're buying parts and selling parts and the profit on it is 45p.
Yeah.
The likelihood of actually paying tax on that throughout a year is very low.
So, yeah.
So obviously, it's a case of if your costs to income are in reasonably close to 1-to-1 ratio, there is very little profit to pay tax on anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, small businesses are not paying a meaningful amount of tax unless they are doing very well for themselves.
Yeah.
And at which point, if you're doing very well for yourself, then it's kind of a non-issue, you know. So
and it's a case of, there'll be very little tax on it. There's so little that it's over that allowance.
Yeah. And so I reckons the 15-inch sells a lot better than the 14-inch. Yeah. I guess maybe it's just my bias because I really like 14-inch laptops. But yeah, at any rate,
my bias is for the 16 inches.
Yeah. I've had a lot of people who just don't like big laptops, but then now and then I get someone who comes in with a MacBook Air and it's just like, I need something that is smaller and lighter than this, and I'm like, madam, this is a MacBook Air. That is the thin and light.
You can have an 11-inch MacBook.
Yeah.
It will load YouTube. One page every 30 minutes.
Anyway, moving swiftly on. 650 for the Corsair 175R Airflow.
Yeah, and basically we're aiming to make this like £100, like 600, aren't we? Really?
Yeah, I guess so. Yep. So that's 3,800. So action list.
Based on that, we should swap the case to the 220T. For the other one, just because it's going to have the nice Corsair RGB in it, and putting the nice Corsair RGB on this doesn't make sense. But then, does this have enough RGB headers?
Yes, it has an RGB header, which is enough.
Is that enough for 3 RGB fans?
Yeah. As an interesting...
Daisy GB.
Yes. So for ARGB, so for digital RGB fan headers, you can get a lot of fans have built-in daisy chain splitters on them, or you could just buy a 3-way splitter for £1 or something like that from eBay. And the majority of motherboard headers or outputs are usually good for at least like 5, maybe 6 devices.
Oh, cool. Okay.
As long as you're not plugging in massive RGB chains that eat power, kind of thing. Like my
it's powered from that as well.
Yeah, my Fractal Torrent pushes this to the limit because it has a lot of RGB in it, and I have got
100 watts of RGB.
I have some ARGB chains in there that have like 4 or 5 devices, and like the 5th device in the chain, the end LEDs sometimes are a little bit iffy on their response, and like sometimes they change to the correct color and sometimes they stick for a bit, and then the next time it cycles they change and update and stuff. So that's the point where it's right at the end of the chain and it's getting a little bit squicky. But broadly speaking, yeah, you're good for 3 fans off of a single header, no problem, basically. So yeah.
So it makes sense to stick the Lian Li fans on this one then.
Yes, agreed.
Just because again we're trying to build this down to a lower price point.
Okay, so we're going to change the case out on this for the
220T.
For the 220T then, yeah. So 220T, and yeah, price can be the same. It's not really relevant, I don't think. Yeah, it's a second-hand Corsair case. It's worth about £50.
Yeah, they were very similar in price on eBay, excluding the fans.
Yeah, so the action list is kind of irrelevant because the whole PC needs to be built up anyway, because most of these parts are currently in the Stream PC down here, just off shot. So mental note, if we build that up, we're going to have to build a new Stream PC.
Yeah, that's fine, because we've got, at the very least, we know we've got 2 working Gen 4 boards.
Yeah. So that might be, so that might be the job next week is... well, actually, are we just going to say next week we'll actually... during this week, I'll source...
We don't want to use the Gen 4 boards.
Why not?
Just because they don't have resizable bar.
Oh,
I don't know how dicky the ARC will be. Even though it's only being an encoding card, I don't know how much it will piss it off.
Should we find out?
Yes, we'll just have to find out and be prepared for that.
Yeah.
And possibly have to build something else. Because we can obviously use the 2700X and the Strix Hero Dubry Extreme if it is actually properly playing around and not working.
What is that 2700X and why does it exist? Oh, that's your 2700X, isn't it? Yeah.
Because I was going to stick it on the freezer and post really annoying benchmark results because it's a 2700X in an £800 motherboard.
Yes. Yep. Where's the 7700K in the Asus board? That's in the YouTube rig.
Yeah, because I still think you should sell that.
Yeah.
Or that.
That's a good point.
I think you should sell one or other of them, and then build a new one to replace the YouTube rig, and then move the YouTube rig over there. Yeah. Effectively.
Just to add context to that statement, the YouTube rig is currently got a 7700K with an Asus, whatever the
6 Hero.
What's the Intel Crosshair? Because the Crosshair is AMD.
I thought it was like a 6 Hero or something like that. No.
Maximus. Yeah, that's it. Maximus. It's got a Mac. Yeah, it's got a 7700K and a Maximus motherboard in it, which is a really nice combo.
9. Yes.
Yeah, yes. Maximus 9. Yeah. JD, was it you who sent that in? Who sent that in?
I doubt it was, just because obviously.
Oh yeah, from Scientific. Yeah. I must confess, I've forgotten who donated that because I'm a terrible person. Absolutely not. Yeah, I'd have kept that, says Jay. All right. It's been that has been a solid workhorse for the YouTube rig. So we've got that. This PC in the Lianli X1000 behind us. That is that's a Z370 gigabyte with an 8600K in it. That's my old gaming. That's my old gaming board. Before I went AMD. Yeah. So yeah, we should sell one of those.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks personally, I think I would rather sell that.
I would sell that because it's older as well.
Well, it's newer than that. That's 7th gen and that's 8th gen.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
However, that will support Windows 11 officially, which makes it desirable. And also, I really like that motherboard. However, if I've got to pick out of the two of these, I think the Maximus board is more special than that Gigabyte board is. Yeah. I really like that motherboard, but the Maximus with the 7700K in it is definitely a cooler build.
Yeah.
And also, like the X1000 there, that would look badass with the Maximus and 7700K in it because it's a blackout build. Yeah. You know. Actually, it's not. It's got RGB on it. It doesn't matter anyway. So that makes more sense. So yeah, we should sell that. Yeah. You keep the 8600K forever? Well, so should we sell the 7700K? And in a way, I don't want to do that because it was a gift to the channel. And like, it was a gift. I can do whatever I like with it. It's mine now. But that is also an influence to me. Is I would rather keep the platform that I was gifted.
Mm.
So yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of inclined to yeah. So yeah, I would. I'm gonna keep.
Oh, that's an interesting comment from JD. Coffee modding the Maximus to work with the 8600K.
Is the 8600K going to be faster than the 7700K?
Fractionally, but it's also a case of the 8600K with the coffee mod on there would probably give it Windows 11 support.
Yeah, I mean it will just because it's 8th gen Intel, right? So
yeah, but I don't know if the 8th gen Intel support required the motherboard to do the FTPM equivalent.
Yeah.
Or what is the Intel of FTPM?
More to the point, if we're keeping the 8600K and the Maximus, that means we're selling the 7700K, which would not support 11 out of the box. But then arguably that's not an issue because you're buying a second-hand computer, so we're kind of not banking on these things supporting 11 anyway. That's not a prerequisite. Because I still contend that even though Microsoft are ending Windows 10 support in 2025, 10 isn't going anywhere in a hurry. You know, So I think it's a complete zero issue if you want to stay on 10 for a bit longer, or at least to the end of life of your current systems. Oh, you got an 8086K? Those are super cool. I really wanted one of those back in the day.
I kind of wanted one because it was special, but it's also just kind of the case. So I was just like, it's also not actually that special, which is annoying.
Yeah, I suppose. It's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. Let's keep this going. So we've done a build. Let's get the let's duplicate again. So next one. So this is going to be the 3700X, which we decided was worth 85 quid.
Yeah.
The motherboard is going to be the MSI X570 Gaming Plus. MSI X570 Gaming Plus.
What? 140 quid?
I mean, that sounds realistic to me. It's a low-end X570 motherboard.
Yeah, but someone buying it second-hand for 140 quid.
Oh, I wouldn't pay that second-hand, no.
85, there you go, that's more reasonable.
Yeah.
80 quid.
Okay. 80 quid, yeah. I'm going to put in a... Well, yeah, okay.
Basically, we just want to make sure that the part price is not more than 600.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're aiming for 600 for this. So sure, we'll put that in at 80. That's going to help us out a lot, I think. We're putting in another 5600 XT. Which of these are nicer? I think the Gigabyte is a nicer card because of the triple fan. We've got a Gigabyte and we've got a Red Dragon.
Yes, they are both 5600s. Yep. Yeah, that's fine. Is that? Yeah, that's just the standard one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd say put the Gigabyte on the higher end system.
Yeah.
And the Red Dragon on the lower end. So
yeah.
I'll put that in as just Red Dragon, just as a note. So we decided those are worth 100 quid. RAM, we don't have any, so we'll come back to that in a sec.
Yeah.
We're keeping the cost down, so I'm slapping a 1 terabyte into this one.
Yeah.
And we're going to say that's 40 quid.
Yeah.
Power supply, we don't have one.
Something like a GD500, I guess.
Yeah. Cooling, we don't have one, but I guess we'll just buy another Cooler Master Hyper Evo, because why wouldn't you?
Or whatever's 30 quid.
Yeah.
At the time.
Or equivalent. Yeah.
Yeah.
However that's spelt. And this is going to be the 175 RAF.
Yeah. At 50 quid.
Yeah. Wow, that gets us down to 3. Oh yeah, we're missing bits. All right, so RAM. We need RAM.
What kind of RAM do we want? Do we want RGB on the RAM?
It doesn't have to be.
Because, give me 2 seconds to find you the cheapest RGB RAM. Oops, that's price. That's not the slider I want. I want speed. The cheapest 3600 RGB RAM is a starting point.
Yeah.
In 2x16? Nope, in 2x8. 2x8, cheapest price with the RGB. The cheapest with the RGB is £43.41, so £44.
Oh, that's reasonable. Yeah, that's 16 gigs of what would that be?
Clev Crass X.
I see.
3600.
I'll slap in. I'll slap in some 3600 there. How much did we say that was?
£44.
44. Okay, I'm going to put in 45 for nice round numbers. So 45 quid for a 16 gig DDR set, and I'll just look for some RGB at the time. Power supply. This one's tricky because power supplies are expensive right now. Last time I checked.
Yeah. Again, EVGA GD500.
EVGA GD500. What's the going rate for that?
Oops, I missed out some letters there. GD500 is 60 quid.
60 quid. Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah. For 500 gold. It's well regarded.
That takes us supply. Yeah. So that takes us up to 480 quid.
Yeah.
So I mean, we could do 550 on that.
Yeah.
And that'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that'll be gone. I'm kind of tempted to do that because that'll just be gone, and that's one of them gone straight away.
Yeah.
Like if I put that in at 550, that will disappear, I think.
Yeah.
Like the next person to come in and say he wants his first gaming rig, we've got 500 to 600 to spend. I'm going to go that one there.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, cool, we'll take it.
Yeah.
You know. 500 with 5600 XT. Yeah, it'll be fine as long as it's decent quality. Like, what is this? 200 watt card?
175.
Yeah, so 200 watt worst case scenario. 3700X. That's doing like 100 watts.
That's 144 absolutely maximum.
Yeah, so 150. Well, 3700X, 144. You're joking.
Yeah, because that's what the socket can do as an absolute peak.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So if you measure absolute peak socket at 144 plus that.
Sure. Yeah. So 200 plus 144, 350. Yeah. 500
plus all the RGB, 400. Plus a hard drive, 410.
Yeah.
500 plus a motherboard bit, 420. So absolute peak, maxed out maximum, 420.
Kilowatt power supplies are stupid.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm just going to double check what the power supposedly is on a 150 TDP.
Yeah. And so, like I say, at 3700X, I'll be amazed if you see that go past 100, 110. Because the
stock, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Stock, yeah.
Like the 3800X, I could see that pushing 120, 140. Yeah. But the 3700X, no.
Yeah.
It should be 65 watt according to AMD. Yeah, that's advertised TDP, and they all blow past that.
Oh yeah, we're also talking about we're adding massive amounts of fudge on this to demonstrate how a 500 watt is still absolutely fine, even though we're doubling the power requirements.
Yeah. Thank God we have LTT now to test all the PSUs. One day, maybe they will. One day. Very good. All right, 550 done.
Yeah.
So actionable. That is just that needs to be built basically. That PC doesn't exist.
It needs to be built, and some parts need to be purchased.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. According to Tech Power Up, the 5600 XT is 13 to 14% faster than a 1070.
Say that again. Sorry.
According to Tech Power Up, the 1070 is 13% slower than a 5600 XT.
Okay, yeah.
So 1070 is 13% slower than this.
Yeah.
So, this is a 1070 Ti, effectively.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. I think, yeah.
This is a smidgen faster than a 1070 Ti.
Yeah.
Or 3% slower than a 1080, if you want to put it in those numbers.
How does it compare to a 2060?
Because 3% slower.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds like 2060 numbers, which is a lot more flattering.
Or 12% slower than a 6600.
Yeah. Yeah, because like when you say these the equivalent of a 2060, that's fine.
Yeah.
The 2060 is a respectable card.
Yeah, certainly when you're only pushing 1080p.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cool, but some titles play worse. Yeah, you're always going to trade blows, but yeah, broadly speaking.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, every card...
Oh yeah, sorry, it was the 5700 that was the weirdly 2060 Super sometimes. 2060.
Yeah.
Other times. Yeah.
Yeah. Very well.
The one thing this does mean, though, is that both of these cards are slower than an RK580.
RK580?
Yeah.
Oh, is in the Radeon.
The Intel Arc A580.
Oh, Arc A580, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like, that's a good compliment for the progress we've had on GPUs.
Yep.
The A580, which has an MSRP of like $190.
Yeah, that's a weird Trojan card that is torpedoing quite a couple of things. Like, haven't Nvidia just released like a 4050 that just got demolished by the A580 for less money?
Have they actually released something like that?
I don't know if it's been. It's definitely announced.
That's interesting.
And yeah, I seem to remember that the new 4050 just got released for like $200. And it got killed by the Arc A580, which is like $180. And so everyone's just like, what? You know, why does this exist? So it's a new 3050. Yeah. Oh yeah, it got rebranded or something, didn't it?
Yeah, the new 3050. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the new 3050 is approximately abysmal and is like 20% slower than a 5700.
Yeah. Yeah, like, TLDR, Nvidia, what the hell are you doing in your mid-range and low-end right now?
What are you doing in all of your range other than the 4090?
I guess. Yeah.
When you look at your entire stack and go cost per frame, the 4090 is the best value.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing they've got going for them is the fact that they've got the crown.
Yeah.
You know, aside from having the fastest graphics card on the market, nothing else nothing else they're selling makes sense for stuff that people care about. You know, because in the real world, people don't care about FrameGen and DLSS. I mean, I have to admit there is some use to them, but also FSR is filling in that gap really well. If FSR didn't exist, then DLSS would carry NVIDIA's current strategy. But the existence of FSR completely undermines NVIDIA's pricing structure right now.
Yeah.
Because everything that the only thing that makes NVIDIA's pricing structure makes sense is their scaling and frame generation. But AMD can do that now as well with FSR. Not quite as good, but certainly enough to give you most of that experience. Like, I don't know if FSR does frame gen, but just the scaling alone means you're getting most of that benefit.
The scaling is lower quality.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it is lower quality. And basically it's a case of FSR 2, you basically can only use on quality mode.
Yeah.
Which is fine, that's still 66% of native resolution scaling up, so you still get performance gain, but it is just a case of you certainly can't use it in as low resolution situations as you can use DLSS, because you can use DLSS at an output resolution of 1080p and it look acceptable, whereas FSR with an output resolution of 1080p does not look acceptable to me.
It allows a low to mid range system to actually approach AAA games.
Yeah,
kind of
it allows you to push like a 6600 XT to do 1440p on some stuff, kind of thing.
Yeah. All right.
But don't expect miracles.
Yes. Okay, so that's 3 systems. So, number 4, copy of sheet 1.
Yes.
So this would be the Intel thing. So, which one would I keep? The 7700K or the 8600K?
I guess the question is which one would be more useful to replace?
See,
as well, because obviously you'll need another computer. And what do you need as another computer? You need something that can have 4 SATA, 2 M.2, and 8 USB.
It's a good point, because whatever we sell this for is not going to pay for a brand new replacement.
No, but selling 4 of them will.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, the cumulative amount means that we could build a new.
But it's also a case of you could build a new low-end AM4 machine and still have something that does the job, because jumping from all of this stuff to low-end AM4 but with the 5600 still gives you the same performance or possibly a slight uplift. Yeah. And that would still be cheap. Or it gives you an excuse to buy a 13400 to then put in that Z790 board you've got.
Yeah, that's it. Because I think the thing is, the YouTube rig, I don't feel any incentive to actually change that.
The only thing I'd change is, what GPU have you got in there?
It's got a 1060 in it.
I would be inclined to change that to something that was RX 7000 series or GT 4000 series or ARC, because AV1 support, and you'll want to move on to that, I would say, in the future, just because it gives you high quality recording, smaller file sizes, etc, 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 and so on going forward. So if you're already selling PCs and shuffling parts, that's where I'd be looking at spending money on upgrading your stuff, is getting hardware support for AV1.
Yeah. I might put that into the future.
Oh yeah, but if that makes sense, as a part of the overall
long-term strategy,
shuffling of parts around, that's where I'd be aiming, personally, is just to get that support on the YouTube rig as well. Especially as a A580 is sub £200.
Yeah. Because of also
because that then means that whatever PC you have will be good enough for recording in 4K for you.
Yeah, yeah. Because basically the direction I'm going in with this is because I don't really have any desire to replace the YouTube rig as a whole, because also the build of it is it's in one of the old Corsair cases, and it's got 2 AIOs in it at the moment. At the moment, it's just a really cool self-contained computer. There's no point in breaking it for parts, and I don't really feel any desire to sell it. So I don't really want to modify that computer, and it's doing its job with no sign of becoming insufficient anytime soon. So I'm inclined to not touch that. I wouldn't sell this case. So so all we have there is a CPU, motherboard, RAM, and I guess a cooler.
Yeah.
So if we put that into another case and sold it,
because you've still got another case to sell anyway, haven't you? Haven't you still got 2 cool?
There's another Corsair.
GameMax cases to sell as well.
Cases. Yeah, I could stick it in one of the GameMax cases.
Because that takes £10 off of the price as well, kind of thing.
Yep. Or we could put it in the XPG.
I'd definitely sell that case as well.
Which is a nice looking case, yeah. So if we sold that, I would need to put something else into the Lianli for data transfer. But all this computer really does is snapshot and restore hard drives. So anything can do that.
Yeah. Again, as we said, you've got the 4th gen stuff up there that we know works.
So in which case, we shove some of the 4th gen stuff in there. And so what we've basically then done is we've raised some extra money, which then goes towards building new systems.
Yeah.
And like Sai is saying, sooner the older gen parts are gone, the better. This is true, but then some of the older gen stuff, like the 4th gen, is already too old for me to want to sell it anyway. So I may as well put it into service where it's capable of doing the job, and thus freeing up parts that have value, so I can spend that value somewhere else.
But then again, I don't see what the problem is with selling one of those 4th gen boards with a 4th gen processor and you've got a 1060 somewhere in here.
Yeah.
And selling that and then going £350.
Yeah. I think that would be on the table just to get it gone.
Because that gets another set of hardware gone.
Yeah.
And I think you've got a 6th gen board sitting somewhere here as well.
Yeah.
And we've got a processor somewhere. So getting that sold and gone with the 1070 that's on that shelf as well.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So in which case, should we just keep the 8600K and just sell the 4th gen stuff?
As well, yeah. I would sell all of it.
Sell it all, yeah. Sell it all, yeah.
I would sell it all just because, obviously, don't forget.
Yeah.
This month we're getting 14th gen Intel.
Yeah.
January we're getting 8000 series AMD.
Yeah.
So what's the point in keeping 8th gen Intel when you could upgrade to 14th gen and gain 40% single core, 120% multi-threaded?
Yeah. Basically, my concern is my concern with a lot of things is it worth more for its function than the sum? Let me give a more practical example. I've got a late 2012 iMac out there that I own. It's fully functional. I've done an SSD mod on it.
Yeah.
However, it's only actually on eBay. It's only worth about 150 quid. So I could sell it for like, I don't know, 200 quid or something like that.
Yeah.
But a fully functional fully functional iMac that I could put on the front desk, because I've been wanting something better on the front desk for a while, it's worth more to me as a fully functional iMac than 200 quid.
But haven't you got a newer iMac just there?
No, that one's bollocks. That's a dual core. That's why I don't use it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's why that thing hasn't been turned on for ages, because it's a dual core and it's so slow that it annoys me every time I use it.
Then why don't you sell that one?
I wouldn't want to sell it because it's slow and annoying. And if I sell that, the customer's going to be back going, it's not very fast.
That's why you put it on Facebook or eBay. And you stick it in a box and you go,
also, it's also got a cracked screen.
Ah, okay.
Which is the other reason why I'm not selling it.
Fair enough.
So, yeah.
So it is not worth enough to get a screen for it to get it gone?
No.
Fine.
No. So, yeah.
Is it worth enough to keep it?
I mean, I could sell it for 50 quid or something like that and just say kids' first homework PC. But then again, it's so slow.
But is it worth keeping it, or is it worth sticking it in your e-waste pile?
Oh, I see. It seems a shame.
Given how much stuff you have in here, is it worth keeping it, selling it, or putting it in e-waste?
I think I think as pre-revenue said, yeah. I think as pre-revenue just said, I'd keep it as a donor because it has got parts that are usable in it. The power supply in it is interchangeable with a lot of iMacs.
Yeah. But if you're keeping the power supply, why do you need to keep the entire iMac? So the power supply is, I presume, this big and could go on a shelf somewhere.
It could.
I'm viewing this from the point of view of the next stage of generating more space in here.
Yeah.
If it's not usable to you in the sense of it's annoying to use...
It starts and runs. It can be put out displaying graphics and signage. It could be put in the front window.
But it's got a cracked screen.
It's not that visible when it's on.
Okay.
Yeah, It seems insane to me to throw it out as a working computer, if you see what I mean.
Just because it turns on doesn't mean it can do work.
iMacs like this are in a weird situation.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm being very hard on this and playing very hard with this.
Yeah.
Just because it's a case of like, no, you're sticking to your position. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, no, there are plenty of other, and like people are going, I smell a hoarder. No, there's plenty of stuff in here that works that is in my scrap pile that I'm just like, I've got a stack of laptops that are fully functional laptops. I'm like, no, they're junk. I don't care about these because they've all got like dual core Pentiums and stuff like that in them. All of them, you could stick a hard drive in it, service it and sell it for 50 quid, but I'm not going to do that. Because I don't sell junk in here, So yeah.
Take a picture of the entire stack, list it on eBay for 50 quid, and put £50 of postage on it.
Collection only. I'm not posting that. Yeah. Maybe. Anyway. All right. Okay. So. All right. So we're selling the A600K Z390 Gaming 5. Oh, Aorus Ultra Gaming. Aorus Ultra Gaming. Gamer. GPU. We don't have one. 1070?
Yeah, you got 1070 Aero.
Yeah, like the 1070 with the 8600K though?
Yeah.
Yep, okay. So, was that an MSI, that 1070? Yes. MSI 1070 Aero. Done.
What was it? Gaming Ultra, did you say?
Yeah. Or Ultra Gaming, sorry. How much RAM has that got in it? I think this has 8 gigs of RAM in it at the moment.
Is it Z370?
Yeah, yes, Z370.
90 quid? 85? Yeah, £85. £90, 120.
Bloody hell. That's depressing.
£180 including shipping.
That's really depressing. I'm not paying that much.
Sold September 29th. 180 quid.
Oh, you're dreaming. I'm going to put in I'll put in 180 because this is the eBay price. However, I'm inclined to put in an adjusted price on that. I don't think it's worth.
Then the next one that sold was 90 quid. It was £90.
Yeah.
Which was on the 12th of September.
For £90.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm putting in 100. 180 is buck wild. Whoever paid that, whoever paid 180 quid for a Z370 is insane.
Especially one that's arguably is boring and as mid as the Ultra.
Yeah.
Aorus Ultra Gaming.
They're kind of sought after, yeah.
I can understand some of the Z370 boards being at that price.
Yeah.
But not just the Ultra Gaming.
Yeah.
No. Unless the Ultra Gaming sat above like the Gaming 9. For some weird reason, or the Gaming 7.
Corsair H100.
I'm sure JD can tell me if there was an SoC for Z370.
8600K, how much?
8600K?
Yeah.
I'm going to hope that it's £50. I'm going to be horrified and see that it's 240.
I'm not a hoarder. I take exception to being called a hoarder because hoarder implies that I want to keep all of this junk I've got lying around. No, I want it gone, but it costs me money to get rid of it. That's the problem. If someone rocks up with a truck tomorrow, I would quite happily empty out half of the shop, but it costs money to do that. That's the issue.
£90 for some reason, 10th of October. But then, £60, 9th of October.
Yeah.
Yeah. 60
is a lot more believable.
Yeah, 60. That seems actually fair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's 6-core, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. First of the 6-core i5s.
But no hyper-threading.
Yeah. However, the Coffee Lake was Intel going, oh shit, Ryzen is actually kind of viable and might be competitive.
Yeah.
We're going to have to put two more cores on everything.
Yeah.
Right. 1070. 100 quid?
1070. No, it's more than that.
I think they said 130, but I don't.
1070.
I'll go halfway with you. 120. I was going to say, I seem to remember you said 130. I'm like, who's paying 130?
MSI 1070 Aero 130 quid.
Okay, I'll put it in 130 because we can always adjust it down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the most recent one.
Yeah. Right, 16 gigs of DDR. Yeah, it is DDR4. So, yeah, we can call that
exactly the same as the RGB RAM from the other page.
Yeah, well, we've got that. It's got 16 gigs in it. It's not RGB, but it has
but I'd list exactly the same price.
Oh, sure.
Because that was just the cheapest 3600 kit with RGB on it.
Yeah, I'm going to call that 40 quid because I think this is shit RAM.
Is it that weird 3200 kit?
Oh, no, it's worse than that. This is some potato non-XMP kit, I think. It's 2400.
Oh, but you've got a random extra module of that over there.
Yeah, 2400. However, it's 8th gen Intel. It doesn't care about RAM speed, so
certainly not now.
Yeah, so I'm more than happy to sell it with that RAM kit. I wouldn't put this RAM in an AMD rig, not by a long shot, but in an 8th gen Intel rig, that's fine. I'll just get it gone.
£120 plus £10 shipping.
Yeah.
For a 1070.
It's Corsair, Si, but it's like just a really cheap Corsair kit. You know what they're like.
Yeah, it's one of their cheap LPX kits.
Yeah. We'll stick a 1 terabyte NVMe in there because never not.
40 quid?
Yeah. Power supply. I'm not going to sell the one that's in there because I'm keeping the
System
case.
Power 9, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 500 watt Be Quiet. But I'm not selling that because then I just got to buy another power supply for this case, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Would you? Have you got any other power? Have you actually got any other power supplies?
Right.
You've got the.
We've got the Danger supply in the 220T at the moment, which is that Corsair with the Noctua in it. Yeah, CX430. I don't really fancy selling that unless if I would pair that with like one of the 4th gen builds.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
But I wouldn't pair it with
this one. I'd swap the fan out on it.
I mean, why? It's got a Noctua in it.
Yeah, but I'd swap it out for just some other cheap case fan that you don't mind lopping the connector off of to solder to the actual board, because that fan's not connected to the board.
Oh, isn't it?
No, it's connected.
Oh, is it sticking out? Oh, yeah. I thought it was connected internally.
No.
Fair enough.
That's what I was saying about some other cheaper fan. So you just lop off the connector, solder it onto the board.
Yeah, failing that, I've almost certainly got a generic black Corsair case fan in a box somewhere out there, so I could probably just put a Corsair fan in it again.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, you've got some grey ones.
Yeah.
You've got some of the...
Something, yeah.
The case fan version of the SP100.
Yeah. However, in any case, I don't think I've got any more mid-range power supplies.
What happened to the CX500 you had? And didn't you have
What's in here? That doesn't have a power supply in it.
Is it a CV700 or something horrifying?
I don't think so. That doesn't have anything in it.
No, sorry, 650. VS, that's what it is.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah, there is.
Isn't something like a VS 600 or something?
No, it's like a VS 450.
Oh, okay.
That's in the display computer in the window.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's fine then.
So yeah. So no, we don't have any mid-range power supplies. So it seems like I mean, we could buy it. It seems like a bummer to buy a brand new power supply for this, but I think that's actually what we'd have to do.
Yeah, let's have a look at power supplies and just go cheapest first.
Yeah.
Power supply.
VinoScorp, yeah.
Cheapest first. GameMax GP 650 watt, 40 quid. MSI Mag 550 watt, £45. Colink Classic Power, 700 watt, £47. Be Quiet System Power 10, 550 watt for £52.
Yeah, what was the first one you said?
Game Max GP, 650 watt.
Game Max GP series.
650 watt.
Yeah, with the Game Max GP.
I think it's actually
the Game Max GP series is fine.
I think it's actually a 400 watt based off of the 12 volt rail. If I remember, it's really, really low, the GP series.
Is it? I thought the GP series. I knew the GP series wasn't like a full 12 volts does the whole thing, but I thought it was higher than that. I fitted a lot of GP. When I was working with GameMax when I was in the old shop, I sold quite a couple of GameMax power supplies because they were just really well priced at the time, and I haven't had any failures from those. Sample size of 10, but
it's got two 12 volt rails. One, and each one is 22 amp. Which is 264 watts.
Yeah, it's probably doing one of those to the CPU and one of those to the PCI Express. So yeah, that's not ideal, but it's.
Which takes you to 528. Okay, it's not quite as terrible as I thought it was, but still.
Yeah.
Then certainly not great.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris says the GameMax GPs are fine as well. People don't enjoy the Colink Classic powers as much. Yeah. I've got a failed Colink power supply in my shop at the moment, which is the reason why I'm on that. Which again, sample size of 1, but.
Oh God, Deepcool do have a PF500, which doesn't have an efficiency rating.
Yeah, that's a no. Bronze or go home.
Antec have the VP Plus that doesn't have an efficiency rating.
Yeah.
And then there's the EVGA 600 that doesn't have an efficiency rating.
Isn't that one 80 plus white or something, which is just efficiency, maybe, kind of thing. Yeah. Either way, bronze or go home. I'm feeling the GameMax, to be honest.
Which is 40 quid.
Yeah. So that's 40 quid for that. I might change my mind on that because I'll have to buy this. And when I actually get to the checkout, I might see something else that I'm just there we go, that'll do. However, we could hypothetically buy this one 40 quid and that'd be a solid purchase. Good. Cooling. We've got a Corsair H100 that fits that. I'm inclined to sell that with it just so I can just cycle out.
Because you've got at least 2 down there that I can see.
I think they're all knackered, but
okay.
Yeah. If whatever goes in there afterwards, I guess we could put one of those on, or I would just stick an air cooler in there.
Go through all of those, find out which ones actually are any good, and get rid of the rest.
I might bin them all, to be honest, because I'm 99% certain it's all junk on the shelf. Or either it's junk on the shelf, or we don't have useful fittings for them.
Oh, because they're the very old mount as opposed to the circular one.
Yeah, either way, they're all old. They've been old for a long time.
Yeah.
And I seem to remember that every time we're looking for a spare AIO cooler, all of the ones that I've got seem to be no good for some reason or other.
Yeah.
So I'm inclined to just assume that any of the ones on the shelf are junk and need to be binned.
Yeah, fair enough.
If it's not in a system doing work, I'm going to assume that it's broken at this point.
Yeah, fair enough. The other thing we should look at doing is seeing if we can 3D print some sort of bracket for the ones that Spud sent. The Lictex.
Oh, right, yeah.
Just because there's no mounting for those other than for TRX4.
Yeah.
So we should probably see if we can print something for that.
That'd be cool. Yeah, we should revisit those.
Yeah.
We refilled... Did we decide...
We refilled one of them.
Yeah. Did we decide that the pump came good, or...?
I think the pump was somewhat shot on that one.
Yeah, we only did one of them, though, didn't we?
Yeah.
If we did a session where we actually just, blasted through them and refilled all of them, we got on with it, and we were just right, is the pump not shagged on any of these?
Yeah, and then just keep the 1 or 2 that are actually not shagged.
Yeah, because I know we discovered that there are some of the fans in the stack that are still good as well.
Yeah.
quite a few of them were actually okay, if my memory serves me.
We binged the couple that made horrid noises.
Yeah, because I think the one that we tested just happened to have crap fans.
And then the next one we picked up had a bad fan kind of thing, and it was just like, it looked like the entire stack were bad fans, but we somehow managed to just pick up like 3 bad fans in a row.
We just got unlucky. All right.
What is in the Aorus box, the Aorus Elite box down there? Just because if that is actually an Aorus Elite, that's also worth selling.
I think that motherboard. I think it has a motherboard in it, and I think it has a fault. I'm fairly certain.
There's certainly something in there.
Yeah, I think this is broken, whatever it is.
Oh, there's a Z170A.
Oh yeah, that was a bonanza. That was a parts bonanza. This got dropped on its corner and has a bent corner. I forget if it works or not.
I see.
I have a known good Z170 board.
Oh, it's also got a 6400 in it.
Cheap office PC.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just like, it exists. I'm not excited about it.
No, but again,
that would take precedence over a 4th gen, so...
I would put this in a cheap case like the not Cooler Master. Oh god, what are they called? Game Max, and just get that gone.
Yeah.
Oh, we have another mounting bracket. Handy. Oh, it's one of the annoying plastic ones. Never mind.
500 watt Rampage is bronze, better model and cheaper. Yeah, I seem to remember that when I was it's a Game Max Rampage as opposed to the GP series.
Oh. It is not showing up as cheaper.
It seems to. Yeah, I've seen it at the same price before. So yeah, it has been seen, and I seem to remember the last time I was looking at Game Max power supplies, I bought the Rampage instead of something else. So yeah, I'm just going to put in Game Max 500 for the time being. And I'll make a choice when I actually make the purchase.
Oh yes, 747 quid, 643 quid, 500 for £39. Yeah, so 40 quid.
Yeah, actually I'm going to put that in the XPG. Can't remember what that case is called.
White XPG.
Yeah, it's called the XPG for now. All right. Okay, so that's 480 quid.
Cool.
500? Because like some of those parts I think are, well, yeah, no, that's how much it adds up to.
Yeah. The 1070 is reasonably valid by comparison to these as well.
Yeah, and again, it's a case of, okay, so you want something that's cheaper than 500 quid, so you're looking at 400 to 500. What does that buy you? You're going to be looking on eBay, you're going to be looking on Facebook Marketplace at that point. And that means you're buying junk from Facebook Marketplace, which is definitely not going to be as good as or better than this.
How's the 8600K?
We're starting to reach the price floor here, where you can't go any lower than this without selling just second-hand, nuggets, basically.
Come on, Tech.
Apparently AWDIT have it for 35 quid, yeah.
Oh no, that is the forum.
ePray, yeah.
I don't want that. I want the bench.
Caradog uses an Apple PC.
I want the CPU. Oh, that's 2023. Ooh! 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 And Antec have updated their bench for 2023.
I see.
Nice. I'm surprised they have any staff.
What are we looking at?
We are looking at... I'm trying to look at a 3700, but guess what? They haven't got one. They haven't benched it. Oh my god, they haven't benched any of 3rd gen. What? How have they not? Oh, there
Very well.
3700X, that'll do. And then what did we say that was? An 8600?
Yes.
8600.
Facebook Marketplace is my primary place to sell my computer builds. Yeah, that's fair. It's legitimate, but as I'm sure you've noticed, there's a lot of trash there as well. I've no doubt that there are some good ones there, but it's also flooded with garbage.
Blender. Cinebench single thread. Has the blue one better? What's the blue one? Oh, 3700. Oh, cool. Oh, wow. In Cinebench stock, the 3700 is faster than an 8600. Interesting. Yeah, stock to stock, it's actually reasonably.
Fair enough. Okay, I think that's locked in.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was just judging that based off of the CPU, is whether the CPU should actually put in a fractionally better graphics card and make it a fractionally better PC.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
And then on the 3700, go actually a fraction lower still. Yeah.
I would like to put a better GPU with that pairing.
But 1070 is only 10%
it's only slightly off of it. Yeah,
it's only 10% off of this. But that's what I was looking, because if that CPU was 5% faster than that CPU, I'd go, it's really dumb to put the slow GPU on it.
Yeah.
But because it's like 5% slower, then yeah.
Yeah. Very well. Okay, right, that's that one done. Okay. Well, that's a decent result. Okay, so we're at 2.5 hours. I think we're going to start the next one. We're going to start scraping the barrel, and there is more to find. But I'm kind of inclined to.
I still think we should just double check the random boards that there isn't another 6th gen board.
We'll have a quick look just in case. Yeah. Just because that would alter things, admittedly.
Yeah, because the 6th gen board is worthwhile.
Right, we've got H81. That is a Z170, I think.
Oh yeah, which is 6th gen.
Yeah. It's got an 80. What the hell? That's got an AC700 in it.
Yeah.
Where the hell did that come from? That probably came with the random Intel CPUs at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, Prime Z370.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the hell?
Yeah.
Why do you exist?
Yeah.
Where did you come from? Where did you go?
Yes, that's another one that's.
Why are you in my shop, Cotton Eye Joe?
So yes, that's another one that's worth flogging.
Yeah. We don't have a GPU for this one though, because we're at we've got a 1060 lurking, but again,
the 1060 there, which is
I
would pair the 1060 with the 4th gen. And then flog it for total price of $350 or something like that.
Plus, also, I don't really want to sell that 1060. I think it's worth more. I think it's worth more as the testing card than it is as its monetary value.
Why not? Why wouldn't you sell it?
Oh, that one. Sorry, I thought the EVGA.
No. This one. Why wouldn't you sell it?
Yeah, no, I didn't realise we had that one.
Yes.
That's a
This is a 1060.
What the hell is it? I thought that was in there.
This is a 1066 gig.
Yeah, hang on a sec.
Didn't you acquire a 1080 Ti?
No.
Okay. I thought you...
that was a friend's one and it got sold.
Oh, okay.
There's a 1070 in here. I acquired another 1070 at some point.
Oh, yeah. Didn't you spend like £290 on that 1070? And then they all went down in price like the next week and you went, fuck my life.
Yeah, that might have happened. I'm not going to try. I'm going to stop interrogating where that 1070 came from because I think the answer will depress me.
Yeah.
So
that means that 1070 could go in there. In theory, if you wanted to play that entire shuffling game, it could go in there and then be sold. And now you can.
Oh, I know where that 1070. That was one of the old water-cooled ones.
Oh yeah.
Yep. It can't be sold because we don't have an air cooler for it. Unless I put it in with an AIO, which I don't really want to do.
Yeah. Unless you air cooled the CPU.
Well, yeah, like you could air cool the CPU and have a water cooled 1070 in there, but it's just like, don't really like that. And also that starts. I don't really.
Oh no, absolutely. But it was just a case of if we're kind of trying to just get everything gone in as logical arrangement as possible. So
yeah. So no. Okay. However, yes, this does exist. However, we're at the point now. We don't have RAM. We don't have. We could. I don't really want to pair a 1060 with this. We could, but
yeah. Or
be a stretch.
Or you could buy a 5600, or you could buy a 5600.
Yeah, but my point being, at this point, we would have to buy quite a lot of parts to complete this one. But where I'm going with this is, I think we've done enough for today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I'm just saying, it gets more stuff sold.
Yes,
and
However,
more stuff sold is.
I think I'm going to put this back on the shelf for now. However, we have made a note that there is another board there that there is more to sell before we're actually scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I just saw that profile and was just like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
But yes.
So.
And then there's a 980 there, if they ever fix that.
Yeah.
Which is.
We need Muerto to come and visit.
Absolutely. Badger him.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. We've got, that's 3 machines we've spec'd up. So what say next? I buy any missing parts.
4.
4. Yes. Copy. Yep. 4. We did 4. Yeah. Cool. So what say that? Well, yeah. One of them was already done, but it needs some tweaks. So yeah. What say then? I buy any missing parts during the week, and next Saturday we'll build these all up.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's next week sorted as well. And yeah, there can be. So then there can be enough. So yeah, there's a couple bits more on the shelf, but that 4 computers on sale will get me by for a bit.
Oh, you know what we can do?
Yeah.
Build that up to replace the Stream PC.
Oh yeah, that'll work.
That 6th gen one.
Yeah.
Because 6th gen's new enough for resizable bar? I think.
No idea.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Or did that only come in on like 9th?
Yeah. It'd certainly be suitable. That does mean that we can put something on the Stream PC frame that isn't a potato.
Yeah, and that also means obviously that motherboard can then go into a PC to be sold.
Yeah. Yep. The only thing that's a bummer is I wanted to take that in its current iteration to LAN Raiders at the end of the month. However, if I'll forego that, and I think I will take, on the assumption that I haven't sold the Lianli, I think I might just take the Lianli and the Torrent again. I wanted to take a smaller PC to JLAN. However, I think I'm just going to end up taking the 2 big boys again. Because I don't want to rock up with a potato. No resizable bar on 6th gen, Sag.
Damn. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
All 4 in one stream, I'd like to see that. You bet, JD. Well, I'm not going to bet, but you can bet. Very well. Okay. I'm tired and I'm full of cold and I want to go home.
Okay. Are you going to say goodbye then?
I suppose.
Are you going to do the thing?
I've enjoyed this conversation in English. Thank you everyone for tuning in. That went okay. We kind of had ideas that we were going to build up at least one of them today. However...
Did you?
I mentioned...
Okay.
I kind of wanted to go in that direction just so we built at least one computer. However, I didn't expect us to have 4 specs done.
Yeah.
In one go, even though one of them is basically already done, but just needs some minor tweaks.
Yeah, absolutely. Just swapping the fans around, but that makes it easy. You've got the price you want to do it. You just need to do a price sheet and stick it on there.
Yeah.
And be done.
That's it. So yes, even though we haven't done it, we've only planned this week, but we've planned out a lot and it's all actionable and none of it is complicated. So
yes.
So yeah. What's the next video? Board repair. I think it's going to be an MSI gaming laptop repair. Quite a good one. I've got 2 board repair videos in the pipeline that I'm really chuffed with. And there's also an open RGB video in the pipeline that is currently in draft status, but I want to get some feedback on it. Did you watch it by any chance?
No, I haven't. Okay. I haven't had opportunity to.
That's fair.
I'm hoping that I'll be able to tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I was going to say I want. I want.
I'm out tonight.
Yeah, anyone who has access to the exclusive channels on the Discord, there's a open RGB video sitting in pre-release or a draft version of it. And I'd like some feedback on it and just a thumbs up or a thumbs down because the quality of it just wasn't what I hoped and dreamed. but also it's going to be a massive amount of ball ache to reshoot it all. And I did all of the A-roll in a fit of inspiration, and I really don't want to reshoot it. So basically, I'm just looking for someone to watch it and be like, I see what you mean, but it's good enough, just send it, kind of thing. That's the answer that I want to hear.
Yeah.
However, if someone looks at it and is just like, no, you should reshoot this, then I will allow my arm to be twisted. I'm hoping that it's good enough.
With that, with access to the exclusive room, does the second channel membership get exclusive access? Has that been configured?
I don't think it has.
It's possibly worth double checking.
Yeah, have we got? Yes. Oh, we probably do. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know if we have people on here, but just a case of, as well, just a comment, because I was going to say YouTube members, Twitch subscribers, Patreon supporters get access to the exclusive room. So obviously you can subscribe on YouTube, you can subscribe on Twitch. Subscribing on Twitch can be free if you've got Amazon Prime and you've linked the two, and then you've got Patreon, which starts at £3.99 or something.
Oh, less than, I think.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. It's £2 plus the fee or something like that. So yeah, either way, it's mega cheap. So yes, however, I will. Yes, I need to configure it to make sure that the second channel memberships get access to the exclusive content. Then yes. So yeah, that might end up being just via Discord, because I'm not posting. I'm not going to post the content as a message to the second channel, because we're stacking up the number of places that I have to go around making posts to, and it is a surprising amount of very boring and labor-intensive work to go around posting the same bit of content in multiple locations. It's one of the worst parts of the job as a content creator, is actually posting content, because it might be a halfway thing, but it does just mean that if someone has subscribed as a channel member for the podcast per se, that does entitle them to see the exclusive content, which I think is very reasonable. Broadly speaking, I would say please subscribe as a channel member on the main channel instead, but if you have, then you have. Good. Yeah. Right, thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll be back next Saturday and we'll configure and or build these systems. As Sai has just said, I will next be live on Twitch tomorrow, and I hopefully will be playing Half-Life Alyx in VR.
Do you own it?
Not yet, so I need
Very well.
Yeah, I need to buy it, and I said I will hopefully pay him, because if it's £70, then I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah.
Because I'm it's going to be what, 30 or 40 quid. I'm really hoping that it's not 50 or 60 for an old VR game. But yeah. So yeah, I'm hopefully going to be playing Half-Life Alyx. I've never played it before, so it'll be a cool playthrough. That's everything. Thank you all for being here as always. It was £49 or dollars. I'm not sure.
Anyway.
Goodbye.
Absolutely.
100 quid. Yeah, including protection money for South Africa, right, JT? Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you for being here. Ta-ra!
Nah. I'll end the stream and end it.
Insert ads now.
Insert ads, yeah. Doodles.
Goodbye.